there's this myth out there that black men can't handle being spoken to, you know, and told what to do by black women. Black men come from our bodies.
Yeah.
So they're used to having these conversations with women.
The matriarchy is strong with the black
community. It is very strong.
Yeah. These angry, mad, opportunistic, lying black women.
These blacks.
There's no love like yours. There's no love. There's no love like love. J-O-Y.
I don't wanna wait. Where do you get me? I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait.
JLY.
I don't wanna wait. I know you got me. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I know you got me. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I know you got me. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I know you got me. I don't wanna wait.
JLY.
I don't wanna wait. I know you got me. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I know you got me. I don't wanna wait. I don't wanna wait. I know you got me. I don't wanna wait.
Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you all for I told myself I'm not even going to try to monetize the live stream tonight. Since I've been monetized, I've been trying to do a live stream that stays completely monetized from start to finish. I almost thought I had one yesterday, and then they came back and hit me with that yellow $sign this morning. Almost had it. But I know tonight's conversation matter is it's essentially unmonetizable. If you ever notice, any of you guys are creators, and you try to type in the hashtags in your videos, if you're doing it right on the YouTube platform, it will suggest hashtags. So if you type in the hashtag, and then the hashtags you normally use will be automatically recommended. And then let's say you're trying to type in, I don't know, the view, right? The view hashtag will be recommended to you as you type in THE, like by the time you get to the V, it'll pop up for you. There is no hashtag for Black women. They do not allow the Black women hashtag to proliferate on YouTube for obvious reasons. You know, apparently there is a protected class type of thing going on here. And then also, if you are Black manosphere at all, Black manosphere adjacent, you notice it's a lot more difficult to get your videos monetized if it says Black women specifically. You have to be very nice. You have to be very careful. So we ain't trying none of that tonight. We're just going to be blunt, to the point. Like the show, support the show tonight, people. We are going to have us a frank conversation. We're going to go from a couple of different places because why would Anton, Boyce Watkins, Anton Daniels, Boyce Watkins, DDG, and Hailey Berry all wind up in a conversation together? Like, how would I tie all of these disparate threads together? And it's one simple thought. It's a simple concept. You are not allowed to criticize Black women. This was a theme that was brought up between Anton Daniels and Boyce Watkins directly. We're going to cover that first. And then we're going to get to DDG and Hailey Berry when he was saying out of his own mouth, you know, I feel like she's lining me up. I feel like I'm getting bullied here. But I had to keep my mouth shut because I don't want to make her look bad because she's the big time A-list Black celebrity girl. And he's just an internet rapper with like dreadlocks or something. So he had to fall back. That's the game, people. That is the game. It's a cold game. And game is game. But that's the game. Don't criticize Black women. You sacrifice, you risk a lot. What doesn't matter if you're a Black man, white man, whatever. There's a lot on the line when you criticize the women's. And I've been noticing this for a while too, especially as I've been criticizing what I've been calling like this new manosphere, the co-ed Black manosphere, where they kind of got rid of or phased out the older style of manosphere content where it was mostly, you know, a guy talking about stuff. And then it went to the panels and it became, you know, a little bit raucous, you know, a bunch of niggas talking about stuff. And then somewhere in the middle of a bunch of niggas talking about stuff, they let the women get in the middle of the conversation. And now it's a completely co-ed manosphere. And the issue that I've been having with that is because Black men in general tend to be a lot more egalitarian than a lot of other men. And so what winds up happening is Black men couldn't really hold the line on masculine issues because there's this weird phenomenon. I ran into this actually the other day when I was on Chaotic's stream, and we were talking about Chaotic asked the question. He posed a topic about Black men and child support, and so I pointed out some things. You know the kind of comments I make, and this one pro-Black old dude, he was like, "That sounds like some European thinking," you know, and that's very much the Black conversation's problem. Too many Black men see the most extreme, raw expressions of masculinity as inherently European, as inherently white, because only the white man can be a man. The Black man can never really be a man unless he's like doing battle with a white man. And even then, the spoils of war belong to the queen. They don't belong to the black man who did the battles. And this is a problem that it's inescapable. It's everywhere I turn. That these niggas can't shake the battle fatigue. Like they constantly want to go to war for the queen so she can rule over them. If you see issue with that, then you're something like a white man. And now that we're in the co-ed manosphere era, that is kind of the general tone. You know, yeah, black man, get up there and talk about all the things and all that, but not too much. Beat your chest, but not so much. Don't beat your chest too hard. You know, you pound that chest too hard, gonna start to make me uncomfortable. You know, it's how the white man be pounding his chest. And you're not allowed full expressions of black masculinity without being accused of some kind of white association. And I say, damn that. You niggas and you bitches gonna respect me like you respect the white man. We're gonna move some furniture around this bitch.
What is the root cause of the dysfunction that we see over social media and in our communities? What's the root cause?
Can you guys hear me well now? Can y'all hear me better?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So first of all, I think that the root cause is a destruction of our homes and the destruction of our families. When you couple that with feminism,
You know, Anton Daniels and Boyce Watkins, they did a panel over on Jason Whitlock's last night, and I caught the tail end of it, and I snatched a couple of clips out of it because I was gonna do some pre-release, some pre-edited content on it. And then, you know, I'm home bored and I didn't feel like making a video no more. So here we are. But long story short, Anton he low-key cooked Boyce Watkins. He kind of slow roasted Boyce a little bit, and he lined Boyce up in a beautiful rhetorical trap. It was perfect.
and the fact that we've even championed, and I'm gonna just be very, very frank, when we've put women at the forefront of who we are, which me, I'm scripturally based. I don't even believe women belong on the pulpit.
See, talking like a white man. You know, that was my trouble over on CTs when they're asking me my political leanings. And I'm basically like, you know, Christian nationalism, fascism, that sort of thing. And this old nibble lost his mind.
I don't believe that. I hate when I hear people say that we need a partner instead of saying that I want a husband or I want a wife. When we've spent so much time pedestalizing, catering to, and trying to champion to a group of women that will sit there and throw in front of your face that they are the most educated, when in reality, they're the most enrolled and the most in debt, and they're the most affected by what we see happening on May 6th, with them now getting garnished and their wages are being removed as a
Yeah, I just saw Fantastic went live. I think he's talking about this now, man. I covered this the other day. They're removing some Section 8. Ever since Trump got in office, I've been covering how a lot of the fat he cut out of the government is basically women. And by and large, black women do work for the government in a huge capacity. And so you are going to start to feel that pinch.
result of them being the most educated in curriculums that we don't even need in society. The minute that we started following them to the polls, the 92%, and we started acquiescing over to them and started telling them that they're the queens of the earth instead of holding them accountable for following white women into feminism, which hijacked the civil rights movement. And then at the same time, they went and got a bunch of gay best friends so that they can then have the alphabet community hijack that movement, and we start championing it, which the long-lasting legacy of our president, our former president, Barack Obama, is his champion in the alphabet community.
You know, and shout out to Anton Daniels, by the way. What's going on, Doc? Good to see you here. Good to see you, man. Hit that like button, guys. I've noticed this about the villain arc of Anton Daniels. I remember years ago, back when we were doing like the Bernard Riley show, the LaPeace Network was this huge thing. It's kind of chilled down a lot since that time, but the Peace Network was like a huge thing in the Black YouTube circles, and Anton was a big part of that. He was probably like their main draw in terms of like the male characters on that show. I remember it like it was yesterday. A female content creator, I forget her name because who cares? A female content creator made a video criticizing the Peace Network because they are too critical of Black women. They're too hard on Black women. They're mean, they're nasty, they say all the things. And it turned into this giant fallout where like the Peace Network, they did some restructuring. They did an apology tour. You niggas went around YouTube with your hat in your hand and your tail tucked between your legs, professing your love for Black women. It was crazy. And Anton left the show after that. He went off to become his own star. And, the Millionaire Morning Show and whatnot, it really hit the ground running after that. And even after that moment, Anton himself hadn't reached his final form yet. Because even when Anton was on his own, he then engaged in his own beef with the Black manosphere because y'all go too hard on the women. Y'all not trying to get married. Y'all just running through these women. He was on that. He was on that. And then you know what I realized, especially since I've been red-pilled, as it were, in my own personal life, right? Off of YouTube. Given a long enough timeline, I will be proven correct. I've experienced it with personal people, like personal relationships, friendships. People have come back to me a certain amount of time later, like, yeah, that was actually pretty spot on. We was arguing about that at first. It was crazy, right? Anton has the same, he went through the same revelation. Given a long enough timeline, you will come to see why everybody else is so critical of our Black women, right? And so now we have Anton and what appears to be maybe his final form. Jason Whitlock starts off the conversation. Anton, what's wrong with Black America? It's these damn women. Shout out to Anton Daniels, man.
The minute that we started following other people instead of holding down what was best for us in our households was the minute that we started to lose control of what happened, and we started to align ourselves with the Democratic plantation, which will sell us on the idea that we need a handout and that we need to keep it real for the culture. You've seen it in this previous election when Barack Obama sat there and tried to hold Black men accountable for not following Black women to the polls. And his very wife told the women that they need to ignore their husbands and make sure that they vote differently inside of the voting booth. Right. So I believe.
Right. Everything about our current culture is designed to promote women's comfort and men's fealty to women's comfort. Our entire government is sworn to the fealty of women being comfortable.
Personally, that the minute that we started following women, the minute that we start allowing for them to take our children out of our households and single parent households, and then they use that in order to pedestalize themselves at their own demise, is literally the foundation of why we find ourselves in this situation today. Because I don't see a lot of Black men, honestly, I don't see a lot of Black men online.
Shout out to my Cheesemo TV, man. Listen, the grind is real. Those of us in the YouTube game can respect what it takes, all the invisible decisions and labors that go into it, man. I appreciate the compliment, bro. Thank you so much. We're trying over here. We're trying. Join the church, bro.
Complaining about students. I don't see a lot of Black men finding themselves at a negative disposition and embarrassing themselves at the rate that I see women. Even though the narrative has been created that Black men are having all of these children out of wedlock, the majority of Black men take care of their children. The majority of Black men take care of business. The majority of Black men are participants in their children's lives. As a matter of fact, most Black men aren't even really having sex like that. And so what you see now is a women-led society. All of the movies, they then followed suit. You've seen Tyler Perry's and Big Mama's House.
I remember when Tyler Perry was a thing on the Black play circuit. Wow, that was a hell of a time. I went to my mom's house and she got all these bootleg Tyler Perry DVDs. And I watched a couple of them after a while. And it was like this 6-foot nigga in a dress. And Black America ate it up. We made that transsexual a billionaire.
And all of this stuff, and they follow the plays, and now they all celebrating and they're promoting all of this homosexuality. The reality is that these are the things that are basically combining and then compounding the problems that you see happening in the community. And it's one thing that I disagree with the pastor on, is that I don't think that we need to just focus on shaming. I think that there needs to be a segment of us that divest ourselves and stop even having conversations with people that shouldn't even be in the room with us.
Stop talking to these women so much. There was a concept years ago, back when the manosphere was full of men. There was a concept called the wall of silence. Put a 1 in the chat if you are familiar with a term called the wall of silence. Not the wall, not that sexual marketplace concept, as in the wall of silence. Do you guys remember a couple of years ago, back when the manosphere was full of men, there was a term called the wall of silence going around? Apparently the wall wasn't structurally sound. The wall crumbled. Now we got Charlie inside the wire running crazy, setting off booby traps and all kind of stuff. Got blue on blue shooting at each other now because we couldn't hold the wall. The wall of silence probably would have communicated a lot more effectively than the co-ed manosphere. The co-ed manosphere is a losing talking point.
I don't have to sit here and substantiate you. I don't have to hold you accountable. I'm going to just walk away and I'm going to let you deal with yourself. I see that statue over in New York City that actually represents Black women, and I think it's an accurate representation of the culture, and then people are getting mad at it because that is how they see you. The director that placed that statue in New York City is a white woman, but their interpretation of what you look like and how you carry yourself is that. And then people will get mad at it because they don't really have a standard in the Black community that is truly a reflection of what is good for the rest of the people.
You know, the statue does raise an issue that's very meta. It's a very philosophical issue. It's real, but it's a deeply meta philosophical issue. What is inspirational or even aspirational within Black culture? I think that's why the statue, it kind of resonates for a certain sect of Black America, and that it speaks to their averageness and their mediocrity. It speaks to their plainness. And the problem with, especially a piece of art that's essentially a government-sponsored art, like if you think about classical works of art, like the Mona Lisa is the Mona Lisa is mid, right? All things being equal, the Mona Lisa is a mid. There's nothing exceptional about the Mona Lisa. But the Mona Lisa wasn't painted as a government work forced upon its public to inspire devotion to a mid. The Mona Lisa was literally just, some guy wanted somebody to paint a picture of his girl or something to that effect, right? When your government puts statues, when your king, when your emperor puts statues up in the public square, It is to inspire. It is meant to be inspirational and both aspirational, and to promote a little bit of worship to the God King figure. And that is it's apparently the point of the Black woman statue.
So
well, let's go back to
how do we even have a culture?
But let's go back to what you were saying in the beginning about Black men who choose to become passport brothers or marry a white woman, things like that. I think people should marry whoever they want to. And I, as a man, I think you have a right to do whatever is going to work best for you. I can't judge that. Where I think that we can do a little bit better as men is
Here it comes.
You can go marry your white woman, but
Here
you
it
ain't
comes.
got to bash Black women on your way out the door.
And there it is. There it is. Now, to be fair, to be honest, Boyce Watkins doesn't believe that only about passport bros. He believes that as a general way of living, which makes him just like the rest of the modern co-ed manosphere. I don't even want to call it the Black manosphere anymore. I feel like co-ed manosphere is a better term for it now. And Boyce is basically your spirit animal in the co-ed manosphere, because that is the spirit. You cannot criticize Black women. It's like your entire reason for existing is to block and blunt any criticism that the Black manosphere has established and built credibility on over all these years. And here you come now to kick over the sandcastle.
I can't judge that. Where I think that we can do a little bit better as men is you can go marry your white woman, but you ain't got to bash Black women on your way out the door. That's the problem. I think that's the thing that I don't like. It's like when you would say, I married a white woman because Black women do this and Black women do that. No, the Black women you chose did that. You can't pick a good woman, so you're taking it out on the world.
I love where this is about to go. And guys like this, let me start from here. Anton Daniels represents a great figure for what this movement needs at this moment in time, because, and even though he doesn't consider himself, he never called himself Black manosphere. He actually went to war with the Black manosphere a little bit at one point. But Anton Daniels represents exactly what you need, because packaging matters. Packaging is almost half of the purchase, right? Would you rather buy the cereal in the box or the bag? Something about the cereal in the bag, you just know it's a cheaper quality product than the cereal in the box. And they could be the same crappy product, but there's something about packaging. And Anton represents the proper packaging for these ideas. A Black man married 20 years. He doesn't have a salacious reputation. He's not out here chasing hoes. His wife doesn't misrepresent him. His wife doesn't really, actually, I think they had a conversation and he really stopped seeing his wife on camera at all. At one point, you kind of did get to see Mrs. Daniels, but I think there came a conversation between the two of them, and Mrs. Daniels fell back, and he just does his thing. He's the sole model now. He's the captain of the whole thing now. And he still kind of represents the more strident Black masculine spirit that you can't really get right now from the co-ed manosphere. And they can't attack him the way they would have attacked most of the old manosphere, because you got baby mamas, you got an arrest record, you got a bunch of kids or whatever, you never married your woman. Like, all the traditional attacks, they just fall right apart when you throw him at Anton, and he can still actually make some solid points though. So this is why I really like him as the new sort of figurehead. Not even a figurehead, because he's not nominated, but I like him as the mascot.
Go marry your white woman quietly and live your life. Why does it have to be some sort of white supremacist narrative? Like, I married a white woman because they know how to be feminine. They know how to cook. No, my woman can cook. My woman's feminine. My woman loves me. And I didn't pick women like that. So I think the accountability, man, it just has to be across the board. We can't hold others accountable if we can't do it to ourselves.
Salahuddin, I saw the Japan trip video. He was walking on the streets of Japan and he was just like, yo, I feel like I've been robbed my whole life. Like, I had no idea people would treat me this way. I didn't realize. And again, I don't think he went over there to visit like any of the weird Japanese sex stuff, right? He was just doing regular guy things. And he's like, wow, women are actually nice. This is crazy. I can't believe how nice people are. And in Black America, there is nothing like that to compare it to. It was an amazing video to watch. But this is what I meant earlier when I said, given a long enough timeline, my arguments will mostly prove themselves.
No, that's not true, Boyce, because you know that if a man appears, I seen Byron Donalds get attacked by Jasmine Crockett for marrying a white woman quietly because he doesn't even bring that to the forefront. But at the same time, that's something that liberals, Democrats, and women jumped on in order to try to attack him instead of having a conversation about policy.
Okay, we have a live one here. Everybody be nice to Crystal. Weapons down. No, nobody be mean to Crystal. Crystal in the chat says the problem that Black women have with Anton and the likes is that who gave so-called Black men any authority to police Black women when statistically speaking, they aren't even married to said Black women. One, no man who isn't your husband. And Crystal, this is ourselves. This is how we operate over here. I don't like to just be mean to girls. I'm gonna let you give me a reason to be mean to you. That's how it works, right? But no woman should expect to have to follow the authority of a random man. That's what a husband is for, right? So you don't have to just follow some random guy's authority, right? But that being said, the idea that Black men are supposed to be the leaders of the community, and this is a point that's going to come up. Boyce Watkins himself is going to make this point. If Black men are charged with being leaders of the community, then that automatically denotes a level of authority. How can I be a leader if you are not tasked to follow? You can't call me a leader if you are going to be in 24-hour rebellion. Rebels don't get to call me the leader. That's not how that works. And so that's where the authority problem pops up at. As a wife, does your husband have authority over you? Most Black women would fight you over that question. They would physically fight you.
And having a conversation about whether or not he truly qualifies for being the governor of Florida. So for us to sit here and act like somebody is attacking Black women when in reality they bring it to the forefront of themselves, and we're not going to disregard somebody else's experiences. We're not going to act like.
Oh, Crystal. You're too new here. I can tell by your white belt questions. You're very new here. Crystal asked, did Black men become leaders by default, or I'm trying to correct some of your typos here while you do this, or by demonstrating they are capable of being leaders. Did Black men become leaders by default or by demonstrating they are capable of being leaders? Here's my take on that, Crystal. If I've demonstrated enough to sleep with you, then I'm your leader. If you allow me inside your body but don't respect me enough to follow me, that is your internal failing. If you don't feel as though I am worthy of your leadership, then I shouldn't be inside of your body. And I think that's a simple way to sort that out. No man who's inside your body should be beneath you. No man who's inside your body should be less than worthy of your respect and your leadership. I mean, not your leadership, but your devotion, your willingness to follow. It is, you know, it's really weird. Black women have this issue with submission, but sex in and of itself is an act of submission. And that is the only type of submission Black women seem to be willing to offer. And then, you know, this is why we have issues, because you're sending mixed signals now. If I'm not your leader, why are you busted open from me? If I'm not your leader, why'd you backing it up on me? If I'm not your leader, why'd you open your, you know what? I'm trying to be cool. We ain't even monetizing the stream, but I'm trying to be cool. Like the video, people. Support the show. Crystal trying to get me out of pocket.
Like it doesn't happen in our community, and then label it as an attack on black women, because if somebody says that black men are broke, for some reason, I don't get offended because I'm not broke. Right. So usually what you'll see is that a hit dog will holler, and that is the reason why people are tired and they have black fatigue, because the lack of accountability and responsibility, and we want to try to pretend, yes, I have an awesome wife, but it's clear that I'm not talking about her when I hold people that are worse for the community and are single baby mamas accountable for opening up their legs to 3 and 4 different guys and having children out of wedlock.
How can a regular guy hold women accountable? This is what I hate about the word accountability, the way we use it in modern conversations, man. What are the mechanisms by which a man can hold a woman accountable? You know what? Let's take randomness out of the table, because that's too hard anyway. And I don't believe in that necessarily anyway. What are the mechanisms by which a husband can hold his wife accountable? Some thinking music. I need you guys to help me out here. We're going to take a pause here. I need to feel some answers from the chat. By what are the mechanisms that a husband can hold his wife accountable? Let's go. Come on, think about it. Help me out here. What are the mechanisms that a husband can use to hold his wife accountable? I'm not married. I never took the plunge. I wouldn't know. Anybody out here got an answer? I'm thinking. This is my thinking music. Prenup. That's one. That's one. And by the way, shout out to Big Time coming in with a $2 super chat. He says, hood on that algorithm treadmill. Every day I'm hustling, Big Time. I'm trying to be like you, bro. I'm trying to get like Big Time. Every day I'm hustling. But what are the mechanisms by which a husband can hold his wife accountable? Marriage is not the mechanism. Well, you say psychological manipulation. I'm willing to play that game. You do have to be evil if you want your woman to love you. That's a black pill lesson right there. You have to be a little evil if you want your woman to stay in love. Women don't love love. They love evil. You have to have a bit of evil in you to keep her in love. Carmen says, put her through the mattress. Oh my God. I'm trying to imagine your little cute face when you say that. Put her through the mattress. Okay. I don't know if that's holding her accountable, but I'm sure you would like that either way. That's really what they'd be after too. Let me start a fight with him so I can get put through the mattress. Oh God, you're driving me crazy. I don't even want to come to bed now. I don't even want to come to bed now. You're driving me crazy. Financial domination. Okay, that's one way. Never give her access to any of the money. The pimps were right about women, you know. We hate to acknowledge that because it's icky thinking. But the pimps were very right about women. Yeah, you keep all the money. I remember our dirty folks said that, you know, girls don't really care about money. They just like stuff. Keep the money and let her have stuff. Really? Really? But honestly, the point of this little exercise is to point out the sheer lack of options that a man is actually given. But somehow we're called leaders, and I'm tired of the gaslight. Men haven't been leaders ever since the 19th Amendment. If men are leaders, why are you voting? Don't hit me with the leadership gaslight. If the men are the leaders, why are you voting?
And for me to call it out, because that is the majority, we always want to put it back on men. You can fix 99% of all men, hold them accountable and tell them, hey, make sure that you don't sleep with women out of wedlock and have children out of wedlock. 1% of the men, the top 5, the top percent of the men are the ones that having all of the children with 80 to 90% of the women that's having children out of wedlock.
Now, I
So
agree
if
with you,
one-
but
if-
why?
if-
But why
if-
would?
if-
But why
if-
would?
hold on,
But why
if-
wouldn't we put?
if
But why wouldn't we put a
statistically-
lot of it back on the men, though? If men are supposed
because
to be the
women
leaders,
control access to sex.
How are men are the leaders? We need to actually pause all of the black conversations from here on. This is why you niggas got to stop talking to women so much, because they won't let you focus on this type of thing. They want to drag it around all these other emotional points. But if men are the leaders, right? How are we the leaders? Based on what? Because I'm bigger and stronger than you? If the only reason that you say men are the leaders is because I'm bigger than stronger than you, then you shouldn't have a problem with me using physicality to discipline you, right? But you would not do that, and I'm not suggesting that. But what do you mean men are the leaders? Based on what?
now I
So
agree
if
with you,
one-
but
if-
why?
if-
But why
if-
would?
if-
But why would?
hold on,
But why
if-
wouldn't we put?
if
But why wouldn't we put a
statistically-
lot of it back on the men, though? If men are supposed
Because
to be the
women
leaders,
control access to sex.
Oh, and I do agree with that. I agree with you. I mean, I think
Crystal,
the
you
baby
about to
mama
get the
epidemic
gun,
is a
the free
problem. I think
you
we
about to
gotta
get free
honestly
fired
address
on,
it. We're not
Crystal. Be
doing
nice,
that.
Crystal.
But if men
I don't know why you coming here being like that. It's always one of the black ones. I swear, it's always one of the black ones. Be nice, Crystal. Stop that.
are supposed to be the leaders, then that means that the ball should be passed to you. In a football game, when the team loses, if the quarterback takes responsibility, even if it wasn't his fault, because he said, "This is my team, my responsibility. I'll deal with this internally." So I think as men, you are right though. The baby mama epidemic is a problem. A lot of these weak ass young men are coming out of households where they never met a man in their life that really loved them and poured into them. It's really wrecked our whole community. It's not a badge of honor. It's not something we should be proud of. But at the same time, I think that as men, we have to sort of say, start with us first.
What is it that we are to do, though, Boyce? Though that's what I hate about this. It starts with men thing. Don't tell me it starts with me, and then you give me the exact same weapons that I've been losing the war with this whole time. This is a modern war. It's 2025 modern war. Dudes run around with switches and long foreign guns, and you got me out here with this M1 Garand from the First World War. No, send me out here with modern combat tactics. Don't send me to fight a modern war with Civil War tactics, bro. What is this? Men are supposed to be the leaders. Leaders how? How? Because my dick big? That don't mean nothing.
Right? Because here's what I believe about women. I believe that if you show up and you are a true leader as a masculine man, women will follow that.
Lies.
I don't think you have to ask for respect.
Lies.
I don't think you have.
Lies, Boyce. That's it right there. Lie. And Boyce about to walk himself right down the trap too. We coming up onto it. Those are lies, Boyce. That is alpha your way through it, essentially. You guys remember these old school manosphere back before all the women were around? These old school manosphere sayings like alpha your way through it. How the only solution the blue pill normies have for you is to just alpha your way through it. Just be more of a man than the entire federal government. That's all you have to do. And monkey dance a little bit too. Niggas have no solutions, bro, and it's crazy.
Young men are coming out of households where they never met a man in their life that really loved them and poured into them. It's really wrecked our whole community. It's not a badge of honor. It's not something we should be proud of. But at the same time, I think that as men, we have to sort of say, start with us first, right? Because here's what I believe about women. I believe that if you show up and you are a true leader as a masculine man, women will follow that.
Lies.
I don't think you have to ask for respect.
Lies.
I don't think you have.
Where is the evidence of that? You know, because we're an evidence-based community over here. We don't really sell. We don't traffic in hope. You know, faith maybe, but we don't have faith in the women. We have, you know, faith in the higher power that maybe one day you'll get what you deserve. But we have faith, not hope. We you know, faith in God, but not hope in women. That's really it. You know, faith in God, but no hope in women. Because where is the evidence that if you build it, she will come? Where's the evidence, Boyce?
With us first, right? Because here's what I believe about women. I believe that if you show up and you are a true leader as a masculine man, women will follow that.
Lies.
I don't think you have to ask for respect.
Lies.
I don't think you have to command respect.
Family court law will tell you differently, Boyce.
And here it is.
Well, court law, yeah, sure. I did 18 years of child support.
And there it is. I did 18 years of child support. 18 years. He was in the trenches. 18 years. I wonder how many times he had to go back to court for this and that during those 18 years. How many adjustments he had to make? Were there any visitation custody battles that you had to fight out during those 18 years? That would almost make you a general, but your pill is so blue. We can never unblue your pill. If 18 years of child support can't unblue your pill, there's nothing we can do for you except make you an example. That's why we're here today, to laugh at Boyce. Everybody point at Boyce and laugh.
Law will tell you differently, Boyce.
No, well, court law, yeah, sure. I did 18 years of child support. I have dealt with a lot of the things. But no, what I will say to you though is the court of law
No.
determine
Boyce,
if
look
I get to be a man.
look at the way you communicated it. You said I.
You know what, Crystal? Like I told you, and thank you for being here. By the way, I don't want to chase you away. You know, I was making this joke the other night, like, you know, you're not supposed to beat up every girl who gets a little bit mouthy, but you have these very white belt level 1 questions, and it tells me that we have very little experience with one another, you and I. You asked this question: when and where is the last documented community that was built by African Americans without someone saying Tulsa, Oklahoma? That's a really interesting question, Crystal. And if I were worshiping your blackness, I would possibly have an answer for you. But it doesn't fucking matter. No matter what, you're gonna respect me like you respect that white man you're alluding to, or you're gonna get the fuck on. There's no other way. There's no other way. You talk that toastless shit on a bus home to your mama house. Either you work that out in your mind or you don't. But that shit is a dub. You're not gonna toast me to death over here. You think I'm gonna fight for your respect over Tulsa, fucking Oklahoma? It's 2025. We live in a modern world. I'm not overthrowing America so your little melanated vagina could tingle a little bit. Get the fuck out of here. What's wrong with these chicks, bro? You out your mind. Tulsa, Oklahoma is a black community. You live in a condo downtown talking about a black community. Shut the fuck up.
Did 18, you looked at it as a prison sentence. You said I did 18 years of child support. So you know, we see women, the same ones that advocated for feminism are advocating against updating family court laws that put you in that prison sentence you just described.
Yeah, but taking care of my
18 years of combat. I don't want to call it prison. It was combat. It wasn't prison. You know, I was free to move. I could have walked away. I could have faked my death and ran away to Cuba or something like that. No, it was a war I chose to fight. It was like, you know, France and England in 100 years war, right? That we were locked in for 18 years. Just say you were locked in for 18 years, boy. You were going to war hard.
The same ones that advocated for feminism are advocating against updating family court laws that put you in that prison sentence you just described.
Yeah, but take.
Oh, look at her now, Crystal. You got to stick around. You know, this is what I love about chicks, right? And this is, I can feel the melt. I can feel the ice melt. How hood of you, LOL. I know what that LOL means, Crystal. Laugh all the fuck you want, but you got to respect me like you dream about the white man. Otherwise, we just can't do anything together. And that's a you thing. That's not a me thing. I am who I am.
Taking care of my daughter was not a prison sentence.
Then why did you say it like that?
Well, because I didn't enjoy the courts intervening in the process. So if you want to debate about the politics of it, I'm with you on that. I don't think the politics work in favor of black men in this country.
My apologies. The politics in this country haven't worked for men. That's really what it is. It's not a black man thing. It's a men thing. The politics in this country have not worked for men since the 19th Amendment. Ever since I don't know if we didn't have a national referendum on letting women out of the kitchen. That's really what it was. They kind of just they slipped the Mickey. You know, that's the Mickey. They dropped some feminism into our beer one night and we didn't realize we were drinking that shit. But it's not a black thing. It affects the black community for particular reasons a little bit heavily. But it's not a black issue. This is a broad Western. This is a global issue now.
Why did you say it like that?
Well, because I didn't enjoy the courts intervening in the process. So if you want to debate about,
how are the men leaders of a community where the courts intervened in your leadership process? Help me out with that. Crystal, help me out with that one. Crystal, come on, you're my new buddy for the night. Crystal, if black men are the leaders, how can black men be the leaders when courts intervene with our leadership process? Wouldn't that make the government the leader of the black community? Help us out here. We're trying to be the leaders that everybody told us to be. If your leadership can be challenged, intervened, overthrown on a whim, then are you actually a leader, or are you more of a titular figurehead at best? Are you the leader if your leadership is in fact ceremonial? You know how like the Queen of England isn't actually, like, nobody has to actually follow the Queen's orders nowadays. Like if the Queen is rolling down Main Street and she's like, "You there, peasant, bow." You don't actually have to bow anymore, right? Because the Queen of England, or the king now, because the Queen died, but the king, that new dude, he is not the actual leader. He is a figurehead. Thank you, Crystal. So follow me here. Are black men merely the figureheads of the black community? You call us the leaders. You point to us as the leaders, right? But in reality, you are not commanded to respect anything that a black man says. Please answer that question, yes or no. Are you commanded to respect anything that a man says? Please, Crystal, yes or no. Thank you so much for participating tonight. This is an amazing conversation we're pulling out of you.
the politics of it, I'm with you on that. I don't think the politics work in favor of black men in this country, but I do think we have a lot of latitude in terms of how we address and how we deal with our women. My view is that we can be strong, focused, masculine, do everything we want, but we don't have to put.
Look. Biblically, here you go. They always rely on the Bible that they don't believe in no more. They always relying on the Bible. I'm gonna make a weird inference. All right, you might not put this connection in your mind, but I'm gonna do this. Right, I'm looking at your profile pic, Crystal, and I noticed you have a very nice headscarf on. That isn't the head wrap of a Christian, God-fearing woman. I'm going to go out on a limb and suspect that you yourself have issues with the traditional church, because most black women do. You're gonna throw that Bible at me because it disarms me, but you don't want me to throw that Bible at you. And then I don't know if that's the answer I'm looking for here, but it was a nice answer though, because the Bible said so. Yeah, I don't even read that book no more. Shout out to Big Time with the $5 super chat. hood, it's similar to the Second Amendment. You have to get a permit. You pay the government for the right to exercise your right. Who ain't that, man? Man, right now, I think Steven Crowder, I was watching a video from Pearly Things. She was talking about Steven Crowder, how he's paying his wife's lawyers right now. I think they're still going through it. But that's what it feels like, though. You know, you got to pay for the privilege of her ruining your life. And we call it love. Shout out to Big Time. Thanks for the super chat.
I need that money.
Boyce, man. Blue pill Boyce.
We have a lot of latitude in terms of how we address and how we deal with our women. My view is that we can be strong, focused, masculine, do everything we want, but we don't have to put down our women.
What do you mean we don't have to put down our women? I'm uncomfortable with this collective ownership of our women in that sense, but whatever, we'll let that one go. But if you are the leaders, right? And this is what I mean about the figurehead leadership, right? If I'm the king, who are you to tell me I can't criticize my own subject? This is the black male leadership gaslight that I keep bumping my head into over and over again. If you tell me out your mouth, I'm the leader, right? I'm the man. I'm the boss. Buck stops here. How is it that I'm the leader, but I have no authority to criticize my own subject? What kind of leader is that? And this is what I mean. This is the figurehead leadership we be talking about. Oh, yeah, the black man is in charge. The black man is this. The black man is that. But then when you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, he doesn't actually have the power and authority that the role would require. It's all a gaslight. The whole thing is a gaslight. You know, right after that was yesterday. So Boyce put out this post on X earlier today. And there's just something really backward about this entire picture here. Look at the chief of police here in Memphis.
We're appealing to the community to help us. Parents, get your children. That was the CJ Davis that came out of me. Get your children. If you want life and if you love your children, help them stay alive by paying attention to them, just like the mayor said.
Doc, I put the link in the chat just for you, because I've been wanting to talk to you for a little while. We haven't had a chance to actually chop it up. You know, our schedules don't align all that well. But the link is in there for you if you do have a moment. I'm interested in what you have to offer tonight. Please, everybody, don't swarm the panel. The link is for Doc. Thank you so much. And get your children, by the way.
We're appealing to the community to help us. Parents, get your children. That was the CJ Davis that came out of me. Get your children.
Notice how inverted the leadership pyramid here is in this picture, right? Women in the front, women in the militarized uniform, the deep voice and all that, giving commands to the community. The men in the background, dressed up, you know, well dressed, clean cut, you know, nice glasses. He went to the barbershop earlier, you know, nice little pimp hat tilted at like slightly, it's like a 14-degree tilt. It's a perfect tilt. 14 is the perfect amount of degrees for a retired pimp. And they are behind the black female leader. And none of them niggas think this is out of pocket. This is as it should be.
On life, and if you love your children, help them stay alive by paying attention to them, just like the mayor said. Either they will die to gun violence or they will end their lives in jail. We're appealing.
And Anton was just talking about Well, in the long story summation of it all, Jason Whitlock asked Anton what's really wrong in the Black community, and Black female leadership was the basic point of his answer. And here we are, not just in a matriarchal setting, but in a community-wide setting. And then you women, looking at you, Crystal, thank you for participating tonight. You women will look me in my face and tell me Black men are supposed to be the leaders, but this is what you really want. This is what you vote for. This is what you angle for. Everything you do in life supports her outcome. Everything you've done has gotten us to her destination, but then you tell me I'm the leader. And I resent you so much for that. I'm going to stop talking for a minute. Doc, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking the link, man. It's good to talk to you, by the way. How you been?
I'm all right, man. You're cooking, man. Yeah, the biblical thing is interesting, right? Because it's this tool that's used to throw out to make suggestions about males' conduct without the women themselves kneeling to the principles therein, right? The things that uh, refer to, well, if the man is doing this, then this is your role. And the entire issue here is what I've been talking about, this rebelling against the natural order and all of these sort of warts and all of these trying to do part of it without doing all of it. It's never going to work, you know. And a testament to the sort of the dysfunction and the power of this sort of uh, rebellion is it can take someone like a Boyce, who I tend to agree with on a lot of things, but on on the single mother issue, on this particular issue, he loses all sense of reason. He just totally loses. Um, he just totally loses any kind of sense, any rhyme or reason. Um, and that's because it's in the water. He's been drinking the water that you know this this a little bit extra that's been put in the drink in our drinks. He's been sipping on that, and so he can't recognize the issue. But once you get far enough away from it, and then you look back at it, it becomes easier to tell the difference. I think that that's actually why it's one of the reasons why there's such a sort of visceral and loud reaction by those women that don't want to comply. Is because they realize that when you get away from it, it becomes a lot more obvious how dysfunctional this stuff is, and why if you don't get yourself away from it, there's not going to really be any meaningful upward mobility for you. You have to get away from uh, that dysfunction. Um, yeah.
Well, Doc, let me jump in right there when you talk about upward mobility, and this is a great point because by mentioning upward mobility, you're kind of touching on something of a sore subject in these Black conversations. Me personally, I think that a lot of the Black desire for things like reparations would actually be addressed if the family dynamic thing were addressed, and then the upward mobility would be a lot simpler to achieve. And I feel like the ask for a lot of these things is a cope because we actually don't know how to address the internal tangle that is Black community culture. And so it's a lot easier to ask for an outside give me than it is to disentangle all of the internal pathologies that are preventing us from things like upward mobility.
Yeah, so this is an interesting point. I think I would frame it differently. I think part of the reason why the dysfunction is limiting us from even being able to, you know, get to something like reparations is, I mean, if you look at the abortion rate, um, the fact that we're not replacing ourselves. I don't know if you saw that clip of the black woman. I played it on my channel, and she's arguing with a pro-life white woman, and she's talking about how Planned Parenthood helped the black community with because the black community is overpopulated. I don't know if you
I
saw
saw
that.
that myself. Yeah, I responded to it on my own time, but yeah, please continue.
Yeah. So see, if the an underlying issue with all this dysfunction is even if you do get numbers, the numbers are all in disarray and they're not lined up behind any particular thing that's constructive. But then you also have these forces of annihilation. You have these forces trying to take black folks out even before we get started, and that's not coming from now. I'd argue that the structure was set up to disproportionately take advantage of those in certain communities, but it's a self-inflicted wound at this point when you decide to get pregnant, you decide to lay down with somebody that's not your husband, you decide to get with someone that already has multiple baby mamas, you decide to do these kinds of things, and then oh snap, I'm afraid what's going to happen to my life. Then you go down to the chop shop, right? So there's a self-inflicted aspect of that thing. But see, so even from a numbers and a functional community perspective and a respectable political power kind of perspective, you'll never gain those things with this sort of scourge of dysfunctional black community. You're never going to get to that point. So all you're left with is, like Malcolm X talked about, you have the class of people that is expect to give outside of their will, which creates resentment, and then you have the recipient class that, and uh, this produces entitlement, and and then once you have that thing moving with all of the dysfunction that's there, there's not really any way to untangle that stuff. You said something about you know untangling all of the goofy stuff that's going on in the computer. It's not really a way to untangle it. Really, you would have to, in mass numbers, you'd have to have people all of a sudden make different decisions than their predecessors have made, and no community does
Well,
that.
I think that's a perfect time for me to read this super chat. Joey Montana with the 4.99 says, since Crystal wants to turn this into a biblical issue, I say let it burn like Sodom and Gomorrah and save yourself, gents. Thank you so much for that super chat, Joey. And I think that was sort of an introduction, or in addition to the little conversation we just had here, where the solution, as I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier too, part of the solution, this isn't a solve, but it's a help. The wall of silence, man. You have to just be able to cut certain people off. And when I was talking about the wall of silence earlier, and I was criticizing the co-ed manosphere because it drives me crazy, the nature of conversation, how it's shifted over the last 2 years. But I'm not that interested in having these romantic conversations with a bunch of chicks, bro. I don't think that's going to help me, or it does. I don't think it helps men understand what needs to be understood. And I don't think it adds to the resolve that men need to have to solve the problem.
I think you made a really good point about leadership. You said, well, how is how is it that I'm your leader, but you get to criticize the way that I lead?
I was going to
because
ask you
that's not the
about that. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Doc. Let me ask you directly. What do you think about the concept of I am a leader that has no tools to lead?
yeah. So so when you say no tools to lead, are you saying um so go in more detail about that. I'm not
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
not
don't
sure
walk
I'm
into
not
a
sure
trap.
about part of it.
Don't
Yeah.
walk into a trap. That's great. No, what I'm thinking about, and I try to express it a little bit if you were listening earlier. Let me try some more. As men, we are just sort of ceremonially tasked as leaders of the community. And that
Right.
concept was born during a time where the man, just by physicality, was, you had a leadership role, at least over your woman. And then through your own physicality or some other ability, you might establish an actual leadership role outside of your home. But that was based on things that you do. Now, in this modern world, what is it as a man that makes me the leader? Just because I'm a man, because I'm bigger and stronger? Because listen, I tell you, if I start throwing my weight around, you won't appreciate that. So outside of my physicality, what is it that makes Black men the leaders of the community?
It would have to be willingness of the women in the community to
There you
comply.
go. It's
And
all
if
hope and faith, bro. It's all hope. I'm gonna
yeah,
stop right there. You got it, Doc.
yeah. And so unless there is a now this of course can sort of conveniently uh nestles itself up next to this point that I've been making frequently about the natural order. See, the reason that you comply with the natural order, there's a religious reason. So it's not just a what I can get away with reason. It's not a who can check me boo reason. It's a it's a reason that says I'm kneeling to this sense of authority because I believe it to be the right thing to do. And if that is not overriding the you know the debauchery, just the rampant rebellion, then there's no hope. There's no way to address that. At least under a system where uh, the world wasn't so developed to the point as to confuse those into believing that they don't need men for their survival because they can't see the men that are doing the work, right? That is still underpinning their lifestyle. Um, even in that sort of in that sort of situation, you're you're stuck with people have to do it because it's the right thing, not because the nature of reality is imposing it based on some sort of impending doom. Now I keep saying that
This is
there's
tough,
only
Doc. It's really tough.
it is. I keep saying that there's only really two solutions, and one of them is a temporary solution. It's only a temporary solution, and it's the solution that we've seen in the Bible over and over. Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Destroying Sodom and Gomorrah, destroying, the if it was a global flood or a localized flood, destroying a huge swath of humanity, right? Uh, the Tower of Babel, the dividing of the tongue, so that people could only understand a small percentage of the folks that were there, right? This is really, but you see, that's only a temporary solution, right? Because we still get back to the same, we get staying back to the same place, to the same level of debauchery. And yes, the some of the details are different, and the sort of flavor of the debauchery is a bit different, but it's still the same sense of rebelling against God. That's what's producing all of this tumult, right? And then the second thing is, it's the second coming of Christ. And in that scenario, 2/3 of folks are getting wiped out, at least. So, neither of those options is, particularly, pleasant. Either one is, you're going to have you have a lot of carnage involved. and
Well,
it's
that's
sad.
essentially.
Go ahead.
No, please finish your thought.
Well, yeah, it is a sad state of affairs. I don't revel in that being what I perceive to be the only solutions to these issues. But that's what it is.
No, and I was gonna say that is basically the black pill conclusion that the OG manosphere thinkers came to years and years ago. Like they gamed this out. Men aren't going to simply wrest power away physically from women, because really what you're asking for isn't fighting women. It's a civil war essentially, and no one's going to garner the troops. There's no momentum to gather men for that type of thing. So we're not going to collapse the government for this thing, but the government itself can't sustain itself under these terms either. So guys are like, well, in a long enough timeline, feminism will eat itself, and we'll all have to die so that we can be reborn again. Like that's the old school manosphere conclusion of it all, right? And that's where the concept of the black pill really came from. Like there's no real fixing this, right? That being said, I want to kind of shift the tone a bit, because I don't like to get stuck in the black pill, you know what I mean? But
sure,
there's the idea of criticizing black women. That's kind of the point of this conversation, and maybe we'll get to the DDG thing a little bit later. I don't know if you really want to talk about that itself, Doc, but I want to share this with you. And I just found this today, and I was actually watching it for a little bit as I was gearing up for the show. We're talking about criticizing black women, and I've been giving Anton his flowers, as they say, for his villain arc, and I don't think you really hear this level of criticism. And this is why I've been really calling out this co-ed manosphere trend lately. And Anton, look, he's surrounded by women right now, so he is the king of the co-ed manosphere. But if you're gonna do a co-ed manosphere, it needs to sound like this, goddammit.
Like nobody is gonna bother you. We don't want to hear about your how many baby daddies you got at home.
And we don't want to hear about how many dogs you have. Your dogs. And then on top, let me finish.
No. See, now the real hold on. See, the real you was coming.
No, I'm not hiding anything. To go around, let me finish.
No, hold on. The real you was coming out now. You don't want to hear about your dog. Fuck you. Now. No.
Okay.
See, the thing that y'all don't understand is people know that y'all got a negative disposition towards them. Well, white people know y'all hate them, and then when they return the same energy back to you, when they say, well, don't nobody want to hear about your ghetto kids at home that keep on writing on the wall all day, then you're gonna get offended. You can talk about their dogs and say, fuck you. But then if they call you an angry black woman and it's, and this is where the black fatigue comes from, is because y'all always victims and you're never the aggressor. For some reason or another, y'all are always the ones that get offended. And then when you finally get called out on your, then it's, oh my God, I can't believe it. Diversity, equity, inclusion, and all of this other bull.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of diversity, equity, and inclusion, Doc, let me ask you a question. I don't know if I've really gotten to hear any of your thoughts about this black conversation, but let me ask you a question about it right now. What do you think? Well, how much do you think issues like diversity, equity, and inclusion as a policy initiative have contributed to things like black fatigue, right? This is on the parallel to all the the violence, crime, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so a couple things about this, and I don't know if you saw the beginning of my show this morning, where I laid this out, talking about black fatigue, what that term actually means, which is actually the term racial battle fatigue. That's where black fatigue comes from. It's a term that was coined in 2003, and it's a term that describes the black experience in basically interfacing with the dominant society, over stuff like Could be reparations, could be, racial justice, could be, whatever it is, or it could just be
That's ironic,
a,
actually.
yeah. So what's interesting about this is that the term has been repurposed
I
by
know.
some in a way that is not. It's not. It's not even close to what the term actually is supposed to be about. It's almost the opposite of what the term actually means.
Sort of like woke. I know it's beautiful in a
Yeah.
way because I'm on the right side of it. I'm like the right wing side of it, so it's ironically funny to me. But there is a bitter sort of resentment about that kind of twist of language. I know that's on the other side of this argument.
Now, what's interesting is in my show. I don't know if you saw my thumbnail, but I have two words, two expressions, uh, sort of crossing each other to denote a sort of intersection between them. And one of them is black fatigue. The other one is uh, white fragility. Now, I have a lot of issues with the concept of white fragility in its framing, in the way that it's described. But I will say that there is a sort of um, disposition that uh, some folks have. I'm not even going to say most, but I might say many white folks had, while interfacing with issues of race and the unwillingness to have, I believe, meaningful conversations and to jump to conclusions or assessments about the person that is asking the question rather than actually engaging in a good faith conversation.
I'm
And
not
so
I'm
what
not
I
sure
find,
what people let me say this, please, Doc. I'm not sure what people mean when they say things like a meaningful conversation. That phrase, it always buzzes in my mind because it's like a trap word. You know what I mean? I don't know where it can go from there. But Doc, let me ask you this: why do you suppose? And maybe I don't know if you notice this at all. It's something I think about. Why is it that it's so hard for Black people to conceive of white people themselves having racial battle fatigue? Because you're not in the battle alone, right? If Black people have racial battle fatigue, you're not battling yourselves. There's another
well,
opponent
I
in
don't,
this battle. There's like the 100 Years' War I keep talking about, right? Like there's
look,
another
look,
side. Why would they not have fatigue as well?
yeah, see, I don't doubt that those that have uh, been engaged in this battle on the other side will say, I don't, um, and that's not a great way to put it, because I don't think it's really a two sides issue. I think it's multidimensional, and then there's a lot of stuff that gets said on both sides of this argument that is hogwash, and that I think uh, is not accurately, the blame of which, or the description of which, is not accurately uh, you know discussed. Like, I mean, the people are associating all kinds of issues with one side, we'll say, that may not actually originate from that side. You know, but it's easier to do that, and it's easier for this discussion to be binary, because that's where the money is, right? You keep those two sides of the argument, keep them seemingly distinct when they're not really distinct. There's sort of shared stuff that's going on. And so, but I don't have an issue with acknowledging that people from whatever side of this argument may be trying to behave in a good faith manner, and they themselves also are experiencing some sort of weariness associated with the same sort of discussions for long periods of time, with no seeming movement, right? I can acknowledge that, but that's not the point. The point is, a term that was specifically addressing Black people, and Black men and women in particular, Black people, Black men in particular, once again has been co-opted, appropriated, to be used in a way that is nowhere near the whole point of the discussion. And then what also happened with the sort of development of that term is the same thing that happened with we'll say the civil rights movement, right? Where you start to incorporate more and more stuff that has nothing to do with the point of the initial discussions, right? So now we're not talking about black people anymore. Now we're talking about LGBT. Now we're talking about people of color. Now we're doing this, and that expression sort of traveled along that same sort of arc, and now has just totally been flipped.
Let me kind of put a pin in it right here, because I don't want to get bogged down in this particular conversation. I just did want to hear your opinions on it, but I think we're gonna stop it right there. I will say this though. What you just said about the terms being used against, you know, the initial creators, and remember, this is in the context of a battle. You know, battles and wars are basically the same things in one way or another, and that's the cost of war. Maybe your weapons get turned against you, and so we should all be cautious before we go down the path of war. We are talking about criticizing black women tonight. The Midwest Request with the $2 super chat says, he asks, is this a form of the purity spiral? And that's actually a good question. That's why we're putting a pin on this particular conversation, because I don't want a purity spiral right now. That's really funny, actually. We're not going to purity spiral with the racial conversation. We're focusing on the women. And that's exactly what happens with black men. We purity spiral with the race talk, and then we wind up letting the women run amok because we fight each other over stupid things like racial issues, and we're not doing that on this channel. If you're new here, that's not what happens here.
Yeah, you know,
go ahead, Doc. You want to say something?
said this. Yeah, and I said this on my channel today. I may have said it yesterday too. You and I, there's a great deal that we agree on. We agree on. I'd almost say most things. There's a few ways that we disagree, and it's mostly nuance. But that nuance has led me to perhaps at least what may seem on the surface to be pretty different with respect to my conclusions. But sometimes the nuance can cause you to do that. It just depending on
the devil is in the details, isn't he, man?
Yeah,
the devil is always in the details, Doc. We can't get away from that. That's why the nuance thing is tricky, because those little gaps they turn into chasms if you explore them long enough. But we're gonna actually move the show ahead. We're talking about criticizing black women.
You just exhibited exactly what men deal with on a regular basis. Now white people are dealing with it. See, this is what men have been going through inside of their households. They've been knowing. And they've been dealing with the angry black woman syndrome for centuries, for decades. Now, white people, the very ones that y'all join forces with, especially white women, they saying, okay, Shaquanda, how many times are you going to be aggressive in the workplace? And how much chicken are you going to steal out of a refrigerator? And when they then call y'all out on y'all board, now it's you. We don't like to hear your dogs, and I didn't want to go to the potluck because your cat probably was standing on the counter.
Now, I want to point out something, and this is, again, I'm going to keep harping on the co-ed manosphere, because I really hate the fear that you guys seem to operate with. Anton, you know, this is his panel, right? Because, you know, positioning is everything, right? This is his panel. He's built the type of panel where he can attract all these women. So let me do a head count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 black women of varying shapes and sizes, right? And he is in the middle. He's look at on the screen, like the center position. This is very key. You got to pay attention to little details like this, right? He's in the king position, the center of the screen. And he's telling the women about themselves, and he's not really doing it in a hateful, like a verbally violent kind of manner. He's not really trying to hurt any individual feelings, but he's saying things that they all know to be true, that they all know to be negative commentary on them as a group, not necessarily individually, but as a group. You're all guilty of this in one to one degree or another. And they're not dying. The world is not ending. You see this one right next to Anton on the right, Jess with the little hat on? Her right here with the little hat on?
Yep.
She's one of the big mouth ones. She's one of the big mouth ones because
Jess. Yeah.
he cycles them in and out. And so recently I noticed her, she got a lot to say, but she's not saying anything. You know why? Because when you actually stand on it and you don't back down, listen, it's you either gonna fold or you're gonna run, but you can't, you have to accept it. And that's what I think a lot of black men haven't really gotten to the point of. Just stand on it, bro. Like, look, they might hate you, but the world ain't gonna end. And then honestly, when you control the panel like this is right here, you have every right to do this kind of thing, but the co-ed manosphere won't, and I hate them for that. Doc, were you going to say something here before we go back to it?
Oh no. I was just saying something about Jess. Yeah, she's
yeah. You've been watching
sort
too
of made
lately.
herself a villain. Well, I try not to watch too many of these panels because it's just aggravating. But there's been a few viral moments over the last few weeks, and so I've seen her in that context.
Yeah, same here. I don't typically watch the lives, but I catch the clips.
Now it's coming out. See? Now we can now we can get somewhere. Now we can get somewhere because they can see the resting face. Y'all don't hide y'all emotions well. You think that everybody is supposed to tiptoe around y'all. And now they have black fatigue. Q, now you see what black fatigue is. You're muted.
I will say this in black women's defense, as we're talking about black fatigue, black women do a lot. Y'all do a lot. But I don't let black men off the hook for black fatigue. You niggas is just as frustrating, and technically you're more dangerous, but black men aren't going to be seen getting into a lot of petty verbal altercations, right? They'll just kill you. And that's a whole other kind of problem. You know what I mean? So black men, you niggas not off the hook either.
Muted, Dalen. I'm sorry. Your mic must have got unblowed. You're not muted on our end. You muted on your end. We can't.
Dalen, your mic not working. Well, while she's trying to figure that out, as someone who has been in corporate America, who has had upper leadership positions as well, I know how to conduct myself in a setting, and I have been reprimanded for being very to myself and being quiet, right? I'm not the type of person who causes problems. I know how to appropriately express myself. And even then, I've even had to, what we quote unquote code switch to be even more
can you pause it here?
So that I
do. You have to code switch if you're a nice person.
Yeah, why do you have to code switch if you're a nice person? You know, I've learned. I try not to code switch. You know, I am who I am. I don't want to talk to a nigga to feel fit in with the niggas anymore. I'm sorry, you got it.
Yeah. Well, with where I work, I have to code switch. That's a matter of like a matter of survival, frankly.
Well, when you say code switch, because I don't take you, because look, when I say code switch, like I'm of the ghetto, so to speak. You know, I'm from the projects for the most part. Like I've been doing project things for a large part of my life, so there's a language and a posture that comes with that, and I realize, like, especially like you see how we talk on this panel, like I don't know if I would be as successful doing what I do if I talk like a nigga. I don't want to project that kind of thing. And so that's what I mean by code switch. And so just as a regular person, I don't talk the way, I talk if I'm, in the ghetto doing things I shouldn't be doing. And I don't think you mean that when you say code switch, Doc.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the code switch has taken on a sort of like a pejorative connotation, and it's not actually intended to be anything more than just when you're in the presence of certain kinds of people for the sake of having the best experience and getting the most out of it. When you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. It's more of that kind of thing, and that's what I mean when I say that. In her case, I think that on its face, what she's saying about describing her conduct in the way that she is just false. I think she's just wrong. She either knows that she's wrong and is saying it anyway, or what might be worse, she doesn't realize how abrasive that she actually comes across and how belligerent. Um, and
That might be it.
Yeah, because uh, if the way that she behaves on this show, just given the viral moments, is an indication of the way that she conducts herself, it hasn't just been a matter of her being assertive about her opinions. It's also her facial expressions. It's also her mannerisms. You know, it's when other people are
Just her
talking,
big
it's the gestures
eyes.
and stuff she's making.
Like,
Yeah,
her big eyes are just staring at me aggressively right now on the screen. Like, I don't like the way you're looking at me right now. I feel threatened.
yeah. So I just think that she's being. We use the term disingenuous often, and maybe that's getting overused at this point. But I can't think of a better.
Well,
thing to
let
say.
me try this. Let me throw this one at you, Doc. People say code switch, and I think what's really under the surface of that, Black folk in particular have, for whatever reasons, an issue with conformity. Meaning that there's this like affinity for whatever it is we think Blackness is, and being asked to behave outside of those bounds ruffles our feathers in a way we almost accuse of racism. Like, if I'm not allowed to be my full Blackness, whatever that means, then y'all being racist.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That's of course that's a tangle of a pathology issue, right? Because in other communities, the community has no issue with separating. You know, so you have those that make more money. You have the upper class folks, the middle class folks, lower class folks, hoods and hooligans, and everybody kind of knows where they fit in the strata. And there's a sort of conduct that is sort of expected by everybody in the different sort of zones of society. But with Black folks, because of the tangle of pathology, you can be wealthy and you still attempting to say the same gutter description of stuff as somebody, you know, in abject poverty, or somebody that didn't have the sort of advantages that you had. And then we call that keeping it real, you know, and all this kind of stuff, which of course is destructive. Is destructive to us.
I've never had the code switch in corporate America. I was just normal.
I said code switch because to me that's in more so in layman's terms, but I've even had to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, no, you said it the right way. You meant it the way you said it.
Okay, then we'll just keep that. I've had to kind of change it up a little bit because I felt like even if I'm my quiet, authentic self, that's still an issue. I've had that be an issue. Oh, why don't you talk to everyone else? Or why don't you do that? It's being perceived this way. Mind you, I do my job, go home, I speak to people, I say hello, but because I'm not doing some of the extras, then
that's what's required when you want to excel and get into upper leadership. You have to do exceptional things. It's not just.
Hey, can you pause it? Can you pause it here? Because he's talking leadership again.
Then you do your.
Yeah, hold on to that thought. Remember that, please, because I think I forgot a super chat. Big Time with the $10 super chat. He says, "Remember when Fuentes told Pearl slavery wasn't that big a deal, and remember all the Blacks who cried actual tears about some virgin on the internet and his opinion? What is the point?" And I think that was back when we were having the racial battle fatigue conversation, though, and that's kind of what I was talking about when I asked the question, like, why is it that hard to believe that both sides can have fatigue in this battle? And this is why I've been kind of just asking for a ceasefire when I talk about this. Like, just let it go, bro. It was a long time ago. None of y'all got scars on y'all backs. Like, let's find another thing to be mad about, because there's a lot of big problems on the horizon as a country. I don't know if I want to live in the American version of South Africa. Let's solve modern problems, you know what I mean? But that's kind of what I think about also when I say both sides have fatigue in this thing. Like, how many times do we have to fight the Civil War battle? But shout out to Big Time. Thank you so much for the super chat. And hit that like button, guys. And do me a favor, be like Big Time. Smash that super chat button for me, y'all. Hulk! Smash!
smash you! You make Hulk angry! You not like Hulk angry! Hulk no like fighting girls.
And then True Hype with the $5 super chat, he says, in professional settings, I tell less jokes and use less slang and or pop cultural references. No code switching required. And I've been in some major rooms. Yeah, and this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. The code switching problem, the more I think about it, I just don't want to have to switch codes. I just want to be who and what I am. And so maybe if that requires me to sharpen up or change a little bit who and what I am, then so be it. But I just don't want to have to switch codes. I don't, it's a labor. There's a lot of things I got to do in a day. That's one extra thing I can just not have to do. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Shout out to True Hype. Doc, you wanted to say something. I asked you to pause it. What were we going to talk about, Doc?
It's about leadership, but if I'm going to make a comment about that last super chat,
go.
I might argue that that though you said no code switching necessary, what it is that you described was actually code switching. It doesn't have to be something dramatic. It can be something subtle. In other words, now I'm not one that uses like a bunch of profanity and talks lewdly or profane or grotesque sort of terms as a regular thing. So that wouldn't be something that I would have to adjust when I went to work. But I know that there are certain topics that if I discuss in the academy, that's not going to be a good thing. And so I know what those topics are, and so I don't discuss those topics. And even when things come up and they specifically are referencing, I know the answer to the question, but I know they're not going to receive the answer to the question, I just won't answer the question.
Well, I think we're getting to the nuance part of it where it's no longer about code, as in I'm going to literally speak some kind of different language. And now it's more of I observe the tone and the tenor of the environment. And that's what I meant earlier when I was saying Black folks seem to, we don't like to fit in or whatever. We don't like to conform. That's the word I used earlier. But yeah, I think that's just a very nuanced point, really. It's beyond simple code switching at that point, Because this is why when we first got down this line of conversation, I pointed out like the ghetto versus suburbia. There's a different type of life, and that's really the hardcore code switching, where it's like I grew up talking a certain way. So like you, Doc Thunder, the perfect example. Months and months ago, when I very first started coming around to your channel, I knew that you were that kind of guy that you just described. You didn't use a lot of profanity, and so when I come into your home, I would feel transgressive bringing the type of profanity I was casual with into your home. And so I made it a point to not be that way, but still be me in your home. And over time, what I realized is that is actually what I needed to apply broadly to what I do here on YouTube. And so this is what I meant by like, I don't want to have to switch codes. This is just what I want to talk about. This is how I'm going to be now.
Yeah. So and of course you all know I don't criticize or impose some sort of conduct or something to people that I invite to my platform. Talk the way that you're going to talk, say things the way that you're going to say them. And even when I show up on other people's platform, I've noticed that people make that adjustment, not because I want to impose that, but because people are trying to make me comfortable. They don't want to, and then if they're on my platform, they don't want my brand to be they're sensitive to what my brand is, this kind of thing.
I'm gonna say something a little bit more esoteric, maybe.
Sure.
I think deep down inside, most of us are more comfortable in the light than in the dark. But I'm going to leave it there, and let's get back to the clip, Doc.
Interesting. So
nobody is going to bother you if you want to excel.
Oh no! I'm sorry. Leadership. Yeah, we totally.
Yeah. So
I was going to skip that. You got it. You actually take it for a second. I'll be right back, Doc.
Okay, so the leadership thing is interesting. So I was talking about the different sort of uh, class, the class system, right? I was talking about the class system, and in the class system, you have separation in other communities, not so much in the Black community, right? Well, you have different. Uh, there is a separation as far as how much money people make, but with respect to general conduct, you don't see the same kind of dramatic difference. And I think what comes with that is there's a blurring of aspects and principles related to leadership, right? So in communities where there's a separation, there's no sort of rampant issue or criticism of people from the middle class criticizing. So, like, say, middle class white folks criticizing white trash, right? Or behaviors associated with that, or upper class white folks criticizing, dysfunctional at certain dysfunctional aspects of middle class. There's no issue with that. So, like, for instance, upper class folks are not going to get upset with you because you're criticizing white trash or middle class white folks, right? Upper class don't care about that, right? So they're not going to criticize you. But in the Black community, what we do is, if someone that knows better, say someone like what's her name? She was on the Breakfast Club, and she was criticizing. She made a pretty soft comment about modesty in young women. She was on I can't think of her name right now. She was on the Cosby Show.
Felicia
Y'all know what
Rashad.
I'm talking. Yeah,
Felicia
yeah,
Rashad.
yeah, yeah. And I did a show saying that if she can't say it, then nobody can. That was my general assessment. We already knew that, though. But see, she, as somebody that has achieved at the highest level and is a celebrity and everything else, celebrated from everyone, not even she is permitted to say something about hood rat behavior, because it wasn't just hood rats that came after her. It was like all Black people came after her, right? From all kinds of, the other wealthy Black folks came after her. So when you start talking about, like, the whole leadership thing and who you're allowed to criticize, see, that's it's all kind of together. It's all, what am I saying? It's all tangled up in that same issue, because even when you are on a different level and you've built yourself to a certain level of prestige, you're still not allowed to criticize behaviors that would prevent people from lower status from getting to the place that you are. So
Well, you
it
know
just
what?
keeps everybody in their
Let me
space. Go ahead.
let me jump in real quick. That's kind of why, one of the reasons why I took issue with Boyce in particular today. It's bad enough that, like, I have to hear these weirdly these reflexive, thoughtless, defensive kind of arguments from the regular run of the mill Black folk that I'm running into around YouTube or whatever. But Boyce Watkins is the kind of guy who would position himself as, like, the intelligentsia, right? You're one of the smart Black people, and you have the exact same opinions as all the dumb niggas, bro. And there's a weird, there's an issue there that we haven't addressed, and because neither one of you got to that opinion through logic and reason.
Right. And
But let's get back to the clip. Oh, please go ahead.
Yeah, just this last point. And also, I think what's inherently wrong with some of these sort of panel discussions is that there is an appearance that everyone is sort of equal with respect to knowledge, equal with respect to having a valid opinion. And so by putting everyone on the screen in this way, it's his platform. It's obvious that he's running the platform. But a lot of these women that are here, it's not like they have a particularly nuanced or educated view of any of the things that they're discussing. This is all just their lived experience, and then them projecting their lived experience on the nature of reality, which doesn't work, by the way. So that's
Yeah,
it.
we don't do objectivity all that much in Black America. We're a highly superstitious group, I've noticed.
Leadership and you are now a representation in the face of the company, guess what? People have to like you. And so it's not their job to like you, it's your job to make yourself more accessible and your job to make yourself valued in the face of the people that you have to lead. That's called leadership.
You're not wrong, but what I'm saying is that sometimes as Black women, that's a little bit harder to do.
It's not.
Let me go back. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not. No, hold on. It's not. It's not. Guess what? Guess what? There are plenty of women that I know that are likable people. People don't hate them. They're not problematic. They're always seeking them out as project managers in order to do certain jobs. They get exceptional reviews. They level up in corporate America. They're a part of fraternities and sororities.
Black woman, I need you to come to the front. I have a question.
Like the one girls, all of them almost want to argue this point. Family business, you caught that, right? They're arguing that as a Black woman, it's difficult to be likable. Like you have burdens and responsibilities that mean you can't be likable or something. Like that's a wild position to put yourself in or to think of yourself as being in.
And they do great things all the time. And guess what? They're Black women. And they don't have problems. They don't have issues with their personality. They don't have to go in and make things difficult. They are very much exceptional.
Yes, Doc, you were saying something?
Yeah. Largely when people say stuff like, as a Black woman, as a Black person, as a person that works in this industry, as a person, largely when people say that kind of stuff, I'm waiting for some hogwash to come. I'm just waiting for them to say some total hogwash because they needed to say that in order to allow you to swallow the crap that they're about to say. That's what I've noticed. I just like discussion and arguments to stand on their own merit. Just say what the argument is.
You know what? And this is maybe a weird place to take it, but I don't care when people do that in almost any terms. Like, and people do that with religion as well. And it's like, yeah, I know you believe such and such, but outside of that, tell me why it's wrong too. Like, don't just tell me because your God said so. But like I said, that was a weird place to take it. But I think there's a practical argumentation for most things anyway, beyond simply that. But anyway,
they are very high in whatever their respective careers are. They network effectively. People like them and men love them. Yo, hold on. It's so funny to me how women who have the ultimate trump card in life, you guys literally have privilege in corporate America. All you got to do is be pretty, smile, do your job, and be likable.
You know what I like about this video when I was watching it earlier? And this is why, again, the co-ed manosphere just feels like they can't do this kind of thing. This almost feels like a Nation of Islam type of addressing the women. And I mentioned the NOI in particular because in all of Black America, they have the only real functioning model of like respectability. Like they produce respectability in their women, right? You don't associate like an NOI woman with any of the typical like Black fatigue behaviors we're talking about. And this kind of feels like an NOI type meeting where you're addressing the female congregation, and none of you niggas would ever. Shout out to Anton, by the way.
Gino, I don't know if you know who Gino Jennings is.
I know the name. Tell me why we're bringing him up.
Yeah. So he's a pastor in Philadelphia, and he's a fire breather. And big Black church bursting at the seams. Women sit on one side, the men sit on another side. Everybody's modest. He goes in hard in modesty. Matter of fact, there were a couple viral clips where he was going in detail criticizing the attire of a lot of Black women, and Gino is one that I think is one that he will dress down, right? He'll dress down the women. Like he shoots right between the eyes. The other thing I was going to say is now. By the way, with Gino, I have some disagreements with Gino. They have mostly to do with ecclesiology and some nuanced doctrinal things. But with respect to, I think what it is that he's doing, I think it's to be generally positive. But the other thing I was going to say is with respect to this issue of qualifying your statement based on, as a nurse, I this, or as a educated person, I'm this, or whatever that crap is. I heard a negative version of this used, and I played it. It was in a clip in my TikTok theater today,
Really?
where this black woman was saying, she was addressing a comment that was a pretty standard comment. And she says, "Oh yeah, I have to remember that you is the least educated demographic," talking about black men who aren't going to know X, Y, and Z. So I thought that was funny.
No, that's interesting because you know what it is? It's the argue from authority kind of logical fallacy, and that's a way of sort of using it as an attack. It's an attack the authority logical fallacy at that point, I guess I'm saying. But that's a weird take on. I mean, a weird twist on it. Rather, it is kind of funny. You actually hear that type of joking in Black America all the time. But anyway.
For some reason, y'all fucked that up too.
That's
How?
I'm trying to tell.
Listen, men love promoting women that look good, take care of themselves, smell exceptional, and get along with people. It's not difficult. You guys get front of the line. You get to take care of things. You get the first right of refusal, all of that. We have, and y'all got laws. Well, y'all previously had laws that promoted, that encourage promotion and all of this stuff. How do you fuck that up? How do you?
This is another frustration that men have with women outside of relationship unhappiness. And a shout out to American Man, by the way. Thank you for the $2 support. He says, Black women are tired, but why? Who is burdening you? And that's really the issue I was just getting to. And Anton sounds like he's kind of talking about that right now. What more rights do women need? What more problems can we go out of our way to solve for women? Is the air not clean enough? Is the water not clear enough? Are the cars not fast enough? Are the trains not shiny enough? I mean, what more can we do? I mean, seriously, ladies, tell me, help me. I want to help. I want to help bend this government even further toward making women more comfortable. Like what is the burden here? And this is just the issue because why do we still feminism? And men are just starting to realize it's because you hate us. That's why.
You make it so difficult, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because y'all gossip, y'all ugly, y'all negative, y'all always disrespectful to people. You expect for people to tiptoe around you, and
Not happy.
And people are tired, especially white people, Indian people, Asian people. They're tired of looking at you coming in, look like who the fuck did it and why. You show up late every day. You always running your mouth, and you never really actually add any value to the organization. And when you don't get a promotion, it's everybody else's fault except for yours. People are tired of listening to Black women complain about their plight in life. You complain about your husbands. You complain about your kids. You complain about your job. You complain about the fucking color of the street.
You planted a lot of words right there.
No. Y'all just come. I don't know if y'all are ever happy.
Well, let you know.
They don't even like each other. They don't even like each other. I've never seen a group of Black women go on a trip together and come back, and all of them are still the same towards each other when they get back.
I've seen that happen. Like literally within my own family, I've seen that happen. Like how y'all left this destination as friends, and then y'all come back here, y'all hate each other. Y'all don't talk to each other for 6 months. And then the crazy thing is, y'all both be on Facebook posting pictures of how good of a time you had on the trip. Like y'all so phony, bro. I swear, y'all so phony, man. Why y'all do this to me? Why y'all be doing this to me? I've seen it. I witnessed it, and like I said, it was in my own family, so I'm not even trying to get in the middle of that. I think both of y'all retarded, you know what I mean? But like women are like that, bro. Like they will do that. They will go on a trip together as besties and come back and not talk to each other for months because she was tripping. And you know, it is what it is, man. Y'all be wild.
Don't get trapped into that statement, y'all.
Y'all don't like each other.
Okay.
Did you know that black lesbians specifically,
Yes, have the highest, yes.
no. No. We're not just talking about lesbians. Black lesbians are the worst of the worst.
You know why?
They hate each other. They get broken up and divorced more than anybody.
Yes, Anton.
That's crazy. How do y'all have worse divorce rates than regular lesbians?
Because lesbians ain't supposed to be bumping coochies anyway.
Why are the other lesbians doing better than the black lesbians?
No, they not. They into some weird. They're into some weird shit.
No, they don't. They just.
I don't want to talk about why.
I'm willing to believe Anton on the black lesbian stat. You know, not that I'm not like the black lesbian whisperer. I don't have a secret path into that knowledge. But just going by black female violence stats, yeah, you guys would make the most violent pairing because black women in general, according to like crime statistics, are a more violent demographic than any other racial demographic of like women. And so if the most violent, if one representative of the most violent group got together and started, you know, bumping pubics with another representative of the most violent groups, those two pubes bump together long enough, they're going to start a fire. And so yeah.
I mean, I did a story. This is months ago, might have been more than a year ago at this point. And I was detailing the rise in incarceration of black females. It's been on the rise, and it's interesting because it's happening simultaneously when there's a decline of incarceration of black men. So that's a sort of interesting sort of factoid. The other thing I was going to say is you played the Keisha Hawk clip frequently. There's another clip that you might dig. I played it on my channel today. I don't know if you've joined my Discord, but it's also linked in the Discord. But basically, what it is this it's a bunch of, I'd say, young to middle aged black women, fighting and stuff. One is in a car and hits another one and wrecks them through a building, and it's not. But then the one that's on the hood of the car while the car goes through the building just jumps back up and keeps walking like it didn't even affect him. So you might
dollar stores are damn near indestructible too. Like, damn, that was crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if you're muted, but we're not hearing anything right now.
Thank you for that. This is why I need a co-host sometime because I'll be making mistakes. I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, Doc, because and this is actually why I said I'm not even going to try to monetize tonight's show, because the next set of clips I want to talk about is DDG and Hailey Berry and Fresh and Fit, obviously, oddly, because Fresh kind of ties into this. DDG and Hailey Berry are, baby mama, baby daddy, or whatever. They got a kid together. And some of you might know already, because I covered the DDG thing a little bit a while ago, where Hailey isn't letting DDG see the kid. She just put a restraining order against him today saying that you've been abusive and just weird or whatever. And so now she got the courts to give her an actual restraining order, and she's filing for sole custody, and he only gets like visits, like what do you call it? Supervised visitation, right? And so here's how Myron fits into the whole thing. Fresh and Fit, Myron from Fresh and Fit, he's beefing with DDG now because DDG didn't like that Myron was criticizing black women. He said flat out what's going to happen with DDG and Hailey. Now Myron is looking right, but him and DDG got beef. You see how, because, and this is the angle, because black men and women don't have their family homes situation, like we don't have our family unit organized, it creates beef with other men outside the home. And all kinds of little ways. This is just one example, but this is they have beef, and these are streamers, so I don't expect anybody to get shot in the drive-by, but microcosms, you know what I mean? This is how the issue plays out. And so, Doc, that's what I want to talk about next. Are you up to talk about that next, Doc? Because this thing, you know, the clips are going to have way more profanity than this, and that's why I knew I wasn't going to be able to monetize the show tonight.
Hey, yeah, I actually have some other stuff that I need to do. This would be probably a good segue. Of course, I'll be listening. You know, but
no problem. Thank you for jumping in, Doc. I did want to talk to you, by the way.
Yeah. We it's probably overdue for you to come over and us to have a bit of a back and forth.
One of these Fridays, I know you go live Friday. One of these Fridays, I'm gonna make some time, Doc. I got you.
All right, man. Be well.
You too, bro. Thank you for coming in again. It was good talking to you. But like I said, guys, we gotta jump over to this DDG situation because yeah, man, your girl Hailey Berry, we all knew it was gonna go down this way. We all knew it was gonna happen. So let's jump to some of the DDG recap clips, because this is what happens as you know, the red pill spear kind of guys. You criticize the women's behavior because there's an established pattern of behavior. We know what's going to happen, and you start talking about it. And then now it's not just that the women get mad at you; it's that the men want to fight you. The women aren't even a problem. You see what just happened with Anton. You can tell women about themselves. That's like a 20-minute clip of Anton going in on black women's nature and representation and their reputation or whatever. And the world didn't stop. Everybody had to keep on. And that's as it should be. But then you find out it's the men who want to like fight you over this stuff, right? And so let's take a look at this DDG clip and let's talk about their little beef here.
And I hate that every time I got something going good, it's always some type of drama, some type of something going on in my life. I've been doing really good. I've been keeping my head down, just working, waking up every day, working, dealing with this shit on the same breath. Nobody will really know. And she got this fucking golden image that I've also protected. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna keep doing that because I'm a real nigga. But this shit is foul, bro. Like, if I want to come get my son, I should be able to get my son.
No, you a real nigga. That's not how it works, bro. You gotta take it on the chin and be you know, keep your mouth shut. And True Hype, thank you for the $10 super chat. He says the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Proverbs 18:21. I shared this with a church lady, then asked her why she was so negative all the time, and crickets. I don't even want to tell you the conversation I had with a church lady one time. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all want to hear my church lady conversation story. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to hear the church lady conversation story. Shout out to True Hype with the $10. Be like True Hype, y'all. Smash that super chat button for me.
Hulk! Smash! Smash you! You make Hulk angry. You not like Hulk angry. Hulk no like fighting girls.
And an angry man with the $5 super chat, he says, we got to take this stuff. I'm sorry. We got to take this stuff seriously as seriously hood. We got to take this stuff seriously as seriously hood as they are, because they have been forced to have take it seriously. Jesus Christ. Why you got to type like a nibble? Angry Snowman, come on, man. The King's English, bro. The King's English. I don't even know what this means, but thank you so much. I'm gonna do my best to take it seriously. I'm not sure what it is we're gonna take seriously, but I'm with you. Snowman, all right, fist in the air right now. I'm with you. Whatever it is you talk about, whatever the fuck it is you talk about, Snowman, I'm with you. I swear to God, I don't know what the fuck you talk about, but I'm with you, Snowman. But all right, church lady story. Before we get back to DDG, church lady story. A couple years ago, I got my son, and my son, he's the reason why I like fishing or whatever, because he wanted to go fishing one day. You know, crazy kids and their little dreams and shit. So we're fishing, and so anyway, we're up at this place called Ossining, New York. It's actually right next to a jail. I think is it like Sing Sing or something like that? I forget what jail it is. Like literally like on the river. You can walk to the jail from like the train, because we took the train from Manhattan up there, and we were fishing at this little park right there. I don't know why. This is a place I picked to go one day, because I like to do a little adventurous stuff to get out the city. So we're fishing by this little river up in Ossining, on the Hudson River, right? And my son is over on the little dock with his fishing pole. He's got my pole because he did something goofy that kids do, and I gotta fix his line now. And so he got my pole and he's fishing, and I'm a few feet away from him, sitting on the picnic bench fixing the line. And this old lady walks up to me, just out the blue, Bible in hand, mind you. So I know she's an old church lady. And she just starts talking to me. I don't know. She noticed me with my son. You know how that is. Oh, good black man with his son. And that right away irked me, by the way. Don't walk up to me complimenting me about my, being a good black man with his. But bitch, fuck, I'm supposed to be. You want me to rob you right now? I brought my gun with me. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit just, anyway. So she walked up to me like, oh, that's your son? Oh, yeah, good black man with his son. So anyway, we start talking. And then she got her Bible and she started talking about the Bible or whatever. And at this point in my life, I had already been sort of like red-pilled. And so random church lady walking up to me talking about random bullshit, my mind is running the places her mind can't think of. And while she's talking to me, she starts to work the Bible into the conversation. And so at that point where we're talking about the Bible, I brought up abortion, right? Right in the middle of this church lady talking to me about the Bible, I bring up abortion. Because, like I said, she already pissed me off trying to compliment me on being a good black father. Like, fuck you, bitch. What I'm supposed to be? Anyway, now you're talking about the Bible, and I'm like, all right, something about abortion. I mentioned abortion. And she says to me, well, sometimes women just, they be getting in situations or whatever. They need to be able to make these decisions. And I'm like, ooh, that's an interesting thing to say while holding the Bible. Like it was in her hand. It didn't burst into flames or nothing. So she's holding the Bible and trying to talk to me about biblical stuff. And I bring up abortion, and she's like, sometimes a girl just got to do what a girl got to do, basically, right? And I made a mental note. I didn't like pick a fight or nothing, but I was like, there you go. In my mind, I was like, there we are, right? And now, the story, the conversation moves on or whatever. And she gets to the moment of glory where she's like, well, would you like to pray with me for a little while? And I flat out said, ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm just not there yet. And she walked away, and I walked away because I was fixing my son's gear, and I was ready to walk away anyway. I was done what I was doing, And I'm not gonna pray with you. I have no problem praying with a random person in public who wants to do that. I remember the last time somebody actually prayed for me on a street corner in public. I actually felt nice about it walking away. But I have no problem with the moment in and of itself. But like, don't pray with me. Don't try to pray with me after you just defended abortion, holding the God you holding the Lord's just a good book. You try to sell me the good book. I didn't walk up to you. I don't go around bothering old church ladies for no good reason. And you come up to me, good book in hand, and I put you on the spot, ask you about abortion, and you like, hey man, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do type shit. And I'm like, nah, we not praying together. I feel like my prayers might go in the wrong direction. I don't want to pray with you. I don't want to pray with you. I don't even pray all that often anyway. So when I do pray, I want it to count. Oh, evil bitch. I'm trying to waste no prayers on you.
Plain and simple. The shit that's said to me is so, if niggas heard it, it's on some leave us alone type shit. I'm like, bro, like, now I can see if I, like, no nigga in the world can tell me that I'm a deadbeat or a bad dad. No nigga in the world can ever say that to me. If my son can talk, he'll tell you my pops is the realest nigga ever. This nigga fuck with me. I wish I can be around him more. I don't get the chance to, bro. It's not cool. Like, it's like, all right, like I have never took my son out of the state before. Never.
You know, it's so funny how time, you know, they say time heals all wounds. And that's a fucking lie. I'm still mad. I'm still mad. My anger motivates me. That's all it does now. I'm not gonna let my anger tear me down. I've come to a point of resolve that I'm gonna let the fire in my heart light my path. But I remember that anger. I remember when I was feeling. I remember being in the throes of that emotion when the emotion had power over me. I'm at a point now where time did that for me. I have control over the emotion now, but I remember that feeling, bro. Like I hate everything, bro. I swear to God, like that's a crazy situation. Once you realize the box you're in, bro, and I'm supposed to be the good guy. You know what I would do to you if you were a man and you put me in a box like this, bro? I would burn your house down. But you're a girl and I'm supposed to love you. And more than that, no, I have a kid with you. That's the real trap. It's not even that I'm supposed to love you. We have a child together. And I'm not gonna take you from my kid the way you would take me from my kid, right? I'm not gonna do the thing to my kid that you're doing to my kid. And that's the box. At least that's how I felt about it.
No nigga in the world can ever say that to me. If my son can talk, he'll tell you my pops is the realest nigga ever. This nigga fuck with me. I wish I can be around him more. I don't get the chance to, bro. It's not cool. Like, it's like, all right, like I have never took my son out of the state before. Never been able to. I don't have permission. Like, it's like I have a fucking second mom. Like, I gotta ask my second mom, hey, can I take my son? Can I take our son somewhere? But if she want to get up.
Second mom is crazy, bro. And I realize that's the position that Black women aim for. Second mom. They complain about a nigga not being worth shit, but they would rather have a nigga not worth shit. Because if you worth shit, you could outmaneuver her. You could fight back. You could outsmart her. You could box her in.
Up and leave the country and leave the state, I get no say so whatsoever. I can't say one word because she tell me that she the primary parent. Like, it's like, bro, the shit not cool, bro.
Shit not cool, bro. Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. Now, and this is the value of things like the Black manosphere and why men have to be able to speak freely about women. It's not even criticizing women per se. Criticizing women is what they call it, but you have to actually be able to speak freely about the way it is. Criticizing women is simply a byproduct of that, but you have to actually be able to speak freely about just what it is. Because when I was a young man and I was all young and dumb and full of cum, as they say, I had no clue about what it is. And my father, you know, God bless his soul, we had too much distance between us, like physically and emotionally. So I didn't get an opportunity. And honestly, I remember my dad literally said out of his mouth, I didn't actually want to tell you about your mom because like it would hurt your feelings, right? So my father in his wisdom shielded me from the truth, right? For better or worse, because I understand that side of it. And I look at my own son now, like there are things about his mom that I look at my young son right now, the age in life that he's in, and I'm not gonna tell you what a horrible person your mom is, because at this point in your life, you need to believe in her. It's better for both of us, honestly. You need to believe in her. It's better for your development at this point in your life that you believe in her. When you're a man enough to handle the truth, I'll tell you just how horrible she was, right? But I want to find the perfect point to insert that knowledge before you give yourself over to being young, dumb, and full of cum, right? Because there is this weird place in a young man's life where you need the knowledge of what it is, but you don't want to grow up corrupted by the knowledge of what it is, right? Children need their innocence. And so I struggle it's a targeting issue. I struggle at what age to give my son the horrible game. But I know my dad, he at least understood the question and he made his decisions, and, you know, rest in peace. We are where we are now.
I don't plan on having a baby mama. What you mean? You don't. I'm not gonna have no baby mama, bro. Whoever I have a kid with, she's with me for life. It ain't. Yeah. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody. It all starts like that. Exactly how you think. I'm not. Sometimes the kid break y'all up, bro. Sometimes the kid be the reason y'all break up. How the kid gonna break me? Nah, the kid gonna break you up because her emotions gonna get the rise, and she might feel like she got something to hold against you, so she gonna be acting different. She might be using the kid to boss you around, you know, to keep tabs on you. And then that might cause you to be so stressed out, like, damn, bitch, she like, no, this, that, you know? Do it really matter? Do it really matter? Nah, females are, they petty, bro. Yes. I know that all girls is they all like that. It's not just one or two. All of them are petty. So the second y'all get into y'all little situation, y'all little Twitter beef, and then the kid, it's like, oh, shit. I can't have no baby mama, bro. Yeah. She had a baby by me. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to do that, man. Bro, I feel like when I have a kid, the whole world will stop. Yeah, your whole world will stop. Think so? Sure. Yeah, you're gonna be this way you thinking right now, you're gonna be like, fuck that shit. When you ready to leave, you're gonna be ready to leave. Then you're gonna be like, fuck this, man. Fuck. You got a kid? Yeah. Oh, so you know, it's she gonna become more of a being than a girlfriend. Oh shit, damn. The whole relationship you have with it, right? Now they be the coolest thing until y'all have a kid, and then just something different. Her ass might change. Because she my baby mama, she feel like she can talk to me crazy. But how long y'all treat me crazy? When y'all
See, they try to tell you. They try to tell you, but you ain't want to listen. You know, these niggas, they talk too much about the black women, so you think they the bad guys or whatever. This is why DDG got beef with Myron right now.
Talk about DDG. Look, I make fun of DDG all the time. I think he's stupid. I think he's low IQ, but I don't think he's over here beating on his chick. And if he is, that's some pussy shit.
Yeah, he doesn't give
but,
vibes.
But he doesn't. Yeah.
Shout out to Myron, by the way, for keeping the bro code alive. And this is what I mean. This is the type of energy black men need to have. Like, look, I don't like you as a man. We might have personal issues, but I'm not just gonna ride with a chick because she say bad things about you, bro. Like, no. We're not doing that. We're not gonna go that way. My beef with you is gonna be legit. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, she need to prove her claims. I don't know that you beating up on girls or whatever it is she said about you. Girls just be out here saying stuff, bro. I'm not necessarily going to add that to the reason why I don't fuck with you. I'm going to fuck with you for legitimate. I'm going to, hate you for legitimate reasons, right? And so I like Myron in this moment. Shout out to Myron for keeping the bro code alive.
Talked about DDG. Look, I make fun of DDG all the time. I think he's stupid. I think he's low IQ, but I don't think he's over here beating on his chick. And if he is,
and shout out to the Midwest Request. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you guys coming through. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. And thank y'all so much for supporting the show tonight.
I need that money.
Count it up, count it up. Let's count all the money. Count it up, count it up.
talked about DDG. Look, I make fun of DDG all the time. I think he's stupid. I think he's low IQ, but I don't think he's over here beating on his chick. And if he is, that's some pussy shit.
Yeah, he doesn't give
but,
vibes.
But he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't give me woman beater vibes, bro. To be honest with y'all, he does not give me woman beater vibes. And here's the thing: if he ain't smacked the shit out of Ruby Rose, I doubt that he was smacked the shit out of that chick. Because Ruby Rose is literally a thought, big thought. And someone, I think Zia told a story one time of how she like yanked this chain and like it ripped, and he didn't hit her after that. He wanted to, but he didn't. So if he could restrain himself there, DDG doesn't strike me as a woman beater.
Joey Montana with the $4.99 super chat. He said, and this is the problem with simps like DDG. They never see things for what they are until it affects them personally. That's, you know, a lot of us as men, we have or have had blind spots like that. And this is why I like the idea of the manosphere. I know there are channels that maybe, you know, not everybody is the greatest guy or whatever for the message and all that. Not, you know, not all content creators are created equally, but I always sort of speak in defense of the existence of this kind of space because men, we naturally want to love women anyway. So we really need a lot of coaching and explanation as to why you're being stupid.
So, yeah, bro, I think she's probably making this shit up to take the kid from him. That's what I think, chat. Because I know that they've had this custody battle. She don't want him having the son like that. She's using that shit as leverage. So, despite the fact that I have my disagreements with DDG, I don't think he's a woman beater, and I hope he gets access to his son. You know what I mean? Because you need your son at the end of the day. And I'm not gonna fucking, you know, kick him while he's down on this bullshit. Because I think that chick is lying, bro. Fuck that shit. Me and DDG can have our problems, but I hope he has access. He gets a son. I don't wish that upon any man.
Why is it so hard for black men to have man code? I know people accuse Myron. I don't know. He's like not exactly black. He's like a nigga Arab or something like that. He's like a Sudanese with Arab genetics or something, but I don't really care. The point stands, you know what I mean? Like black men need to have that same level of man code. I saw a tweet today from what's this little nigga name? Soldier Boy talking about he want to fight DDG because Hailey said he did something to her. Now, in all reality, it's more likely Hailey did something to him.
In a relationship, I think I have anxious attachment style. Everybody knows I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. I get very passionate. I seem nice online and innocent and everything, but you guys do not know. I will go to battle with my yelling, with my words, everything. I'm good at that, right? And if I gotta yell or check anyone, that's what I gotta do. That's just the way I be.
Clap back or sit back. I always have to choose clap back. I'm sorry. I'm a very kind person. But if somebody pokes at me or the people that I love, it's over for you. I'm an Aries. Sorry.
Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason.
Put it down.
Yeah, those eyes are like weirdly far apart for me. Like, I'm not saying she's totally ugly. You know, a nice smile is a lot, but like those eyes, there's an entire universe between her eyes, and I don't want to live there. It's lonely there.
I've you know. I'm territorial. I'm a jealous girlfriend. I'm a territorial girlfriend. Where you go, who are you with? That's me.
I am nosy, number one. Number two, I like drama. I just don't like drama in my life, but I love watching it in other people's. So, I love my baby so much. I need him with me in order to function, in order to be.
Right. You like drama in other people's lives. You like watching drama in other people's lives. This is why you put your baby daddy through all that unnecessarily bullshit, because it's enjoyable. Plus, you like having your baby with you, so why give him up?
Don't like drama in my life, but I love watching it in other people's. So I love my baby so much. I need him with me in order to function, in order to be able to do the scenes and everything. So he's been out here with me majority of the time. But this week, and I go home on the weekends. But this week I had a lighter week, and I'm going home tomorrow. So I got here last night and I'm going home tomorrow. So I was like, let me try to test myself and see if I can be without him for a day and leave him, let him and his daddy have daddy and son time. And you guys, I miss him so much. But everybody knows Moo's the best daddy to him. But I miss him so much. Yesterday on the plane, I was crying, and I went to the little airport stores. I bought a teddy bear, and I was like clutching it to my chest. I bought a Build-A-Bear and a blanket, and I was clutching it to my chest, literally on the plane last night, crying to not feel like miserable without him. I love him so much, guys. I don't know how this is possible. Anyway.
I have to. And it's getting to a point where I feel like I'm honestly getting bullied, when it comes to me just wanting to just be a dad. Y'all know how much like I love Halo. It's literally the best thing that ever happened to me. And this is literally my last resort. I feel like I don't have no type of like shit hurt, bro. Like I don't have no type of say so. And I keep getting this word thrown around like this is, I don't give a fuck if this make me seem childish. I just want to be able to see my son when I want to see my son, take my son when I want to take my son. Like, I don't care if this make me look childish. If I don't like when people do it, I don't like when people hate on Hailey. I don't care if people think she wrong or not, or if I think she wrong or right. She could be going through something mentally after having a kid that I can't understand as a man. So when situations like this happen, I try to handle it with as much grace as possible because Halo needs her, I need her. We need each other to create a childhood that's safe and fun and memorable for him. And Halo is the biggest blessing in my life. Like,
I realized when it comes to this whole Black family dynamic and the collapse of the Black family and all the dysfunction, the tangle of pathologies we were talking about earlier when Doc Thunder was here. Only Black men are tasked with being the bigger person. Really, I went through this kind of battle in my own life. Like, oh, why don't you just be the bigger person? I'm like, why? I mean, it's not even that I'm opposed to being a bigger person, because like he was just saying, I want the kids to have all of the things, kids, the stability and the order and the structure. Like, yeah, I want those things, but like, why do I have to like kick myself in the balls in order for that to be possible? Have a, to see the way my body is constructed. I can't kick myself in the balls. Like I'm not built like that. I'm just not. I know it's crazy, right? I'm just not built to kick myself in the ball. Like God didn't make me that way. It's weird.
I don't know. Like, I don't remember what life was like before Halo. And I wouldn't have him if it wasn't for Hailey. And for that reason alone, like, I got unconditional love and respect for her that nobody can really change. And y'all got to understand, we going through a very different transition right now. We only been parents for 10 months. Now we going through like a little breakup, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all gotta understand we going through something, that's a little, it's hard for us. So when little stuff like this happen, it's really nothing. People go through this type of stuff all the time. I just don't appreciate when people try to put me against her, or it's like me versus her and all of this, and she's wrong and he's right, blah blah blah. Like, y'all can hate on me for as long as y'all want, but leave Hailey alone, man. Mentally, y'all don't know what she's going through when it comes to postpartum. She just pushed the whole human out. She dealing with a whole new life. Like, she has to put everything.
You know what? Ladies, I'm sorry, but I gotta call Kat. I don't know if it's really a feasible human physiological condition to say that something that women have been biologically constructed to do, something that women have been doing for millennia, causes that much emotional harm and stress. Like, maybe in a few one-off situations, but I don't think it's a broad category of a phenomenon. Like, mental illness is like a 1%, maybe 1 to 3% category type of thing. I don't think the majority of y'all be having that type of thing for something that every woman, 80% of women for like 5 to 10,000 years have been doing that very thing. And most of y'all don't grow. It doesn't drive you crazy. I'm sorry. I call Kat. You be taking advantage
of stuff all the time. I just don't appreciate when people try to put me against her, or it's like me versus her and all of this, and she's wrong and he's right, blah blah blah. Like, y'all can hate on me for as long as y'all want, but leave Hailey alone, man. Mentally, y'all don't know what she's going through when it comes to postpartum. She just pushed the whole human out. She dealing with a whole new life. Like, she has to put everything, not on pause, but she has to always consider Halo in every situation. I do too. But, as a mother, I know it's way more detrimental.
Remember, don't criticize Black women, because then you're the bad guy. You criticize Black women, the whole world gonna come after you.
Didi used to tell me, nigga, she used to smack the shit out of him on the bed. He chilling, she smacking the shit out of him. Real shit. Bow, you sitting on in his bed. Bow, like real shit. That's what I'm saying, bro. Real shit. Like I'm saying, bro. Like, I'm just saying, bro. Like, he not gonna talk or whatever the fuck he want to say. Whatever, bro. He can say whatever he want, or you're not gonna say. But I'm not gonna let people think that my dog is some fucking abuser or some shit, bro. But I'm not taking no flights. You ain't finna get this. The government, Rock Nation, not finna get me. I'm not taking no flights. We taking buses and bikes. That's it. All month. Real shit. I'm not playing, bro. Get away. Hey, close them blinds real quick for me, twin. Close them blinds. Turn off your phone too. Just make sure your phone's off.
You said turn your phone off.
Nah, you good. Just make sure your shit off.
I'm live streaming, but you turn your phone off.
Oh, shit. I think Hailey's part of the Illuminati. Real shit. You ask me.
He said, I think Hailey ganged up. I think she ganged up with them people.
If you ask me, bro, real shit. So I'm just saying all this shit, bro. Like, that shit is not cool, bro. Real shit. And that's what I'm saying. Didi didn't sell his soul, so now they trying to get him. I don't care, bro. I know Jay-Z gonna be on my ass after this, and Beyonce. But I don't give a fuck, bro. If the CIA niggas come to my door, then they come knocking on my fucking door. It is what it is, bro. I'm DDG squad, bro.
He gonna die for this DDG shit, bro. He bought this DDG life, gang. That young nigga said DDG forever. He a DDGYN. We got some DDGYNs in the chat right now. If you a DDGYN, because I can't do a ID check, but I'm just curious. If you are a DDGYN, put a 1 in the chat right now. Let me just, I want to know if you're willing to die about this DDG shit. If you are a DDGYN, put a 1 in the chat. If you're willing to bang it out with the Illuminati and the CIA over your bro, DDG, let me know. Stand up. Wave your flag. Rep your set. I'm curious. I know. Maybe y'all niggas is out there. He about to die for this DDG shit, though. Shout out to him, though.
Do me a favor, y'all. Find his girl on Instagram. I'm finna show her how a real man's supposed to treat her. With real money. Real money, like a real bag. Okay? Sweetheart, I have a real bag.
See, and this is why niggas need a bro code, because y'all out here beefing, trying to kill each other instead of getting yourselves together and keeping these toes in order. Now he trying. This is DDG trying to holler at Myron girl.
Do me a favor, y'all. Find his girl on Instagram. I'm finna show her how a real man's supposed to treat her. With real money. Real money, like a real bag. Okay? Sweetheart, I have a real bag. That man you're messing with does not have it. That rumble bag been gone. Best believe. I'm gonna show you how to really live. I could turn a 4 into a 9 overnight. Trust me, I've done it before. It's easy.
He called her a 4 before. When he saw a picture of Myron girl, he was roasting to say, "Oh, you a 4." He said, "You're gonna be a 9 when you with me, though." That's wild.
Very simple. Find it. Find her, grab, I'm DMing her, I'm getting her out here immediately. Because I know you beat on her. I know she don't want to be around you.
And he said you beating on your girl. That's what you get right now. This is why I don't really feel sorry for DDG, because you've been dirty macking and little pimping for this whole time. Like, bro, why would you say he beating on her, bro? What type of nigga? The way shit is right now, too, especially like you would say that about that man, and Myron still kept it bro code. And this is why I had to say, shout out to Myron for that. You still kept it bro code after all of that, because this little nigga wilding right now. This little nigga need a pops, bro. You can tell little niggas don't be having no daddy,
Trust
man.
me, I've done it before. It's easy. Very simple. Find it. Find her, grab, I'm DMing her, I'm getting her out here immediately. Because I know you beat on her. I know she don't want to be around you.
How you say I know you beat on her? Like, how you just look at a nigga with his girl and just be like, I know you beat on her? Like, what kind of hating whole-blooded shit is that? Like, you literally got a hole in your blood, bro. Nigga said, I just looked at you. I know you beat on her, bro. That's how bad you want to fuck his bitch. Your mom just be creating fucking situations where she gonna come to you out of desperation. Like, DDG, only you can save me. Myron beats me. Only you can save me, DDG. Only you have the power. That nigga said, I know he beats her. What the fuck is this, bro? Chill. This is why you going through it now. Now your baby mama said you beat on her. Now what? Now what?
Very simple. Find it. Find her, grab, I'm DMing her, I'm getting her out here immediately. Because I know you beat on her. I know she don't want to be around you. I know you beat your hoe. That's your problem. You have such a small ceiling on your career.
How you gonna say I know you beat your hoe? Listen, the only way I'm ever saying some shit like that is if I mean it as a compliment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. As the founder and the lead representative of the Church of Misogyny, the only way I could ever say I know you beat your hoe is if I mean it as a compliment. Ain't no way in hell I'm ever gonna throw that on a nigga like that, bro. Y'all niggas is wildin', bro. What's wrong with y'all niggas, man? This is what I mean. Y'all ain't got no sense of bro code. Y'all niggas just be out here saying anything because a bitch because the bitch said something. Y'all niggas throwing all kind of dirt on a name because the bitch said something. You would attack a nigga in all type of ways because the bitch said something, bro. No. This is why we are the church of misogyny, bro. That's no way, man. Nigga said, I know you beat on your hoe, bro. Listen, either that's a compliment or you a bitch ass nigga, bro.
Get it again. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I come in the name of Jesus. Repeat it after me, bitch. I come in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Shout out to the church,
You want to
man.
be a podcaster, nigga? It ain't going nowhere else. That shit is done. It's over. Okay? And now after this, you're going to talk about me for the next 10 podcasts. Because it's the most heat you ever got.
These young niggas, bro. I tell you, boy. I used to be a young nigga, though. I wasn't that stupid, though. I was never that stupid.
Fuck Fresh and Fit, nigga.
Wait, this Fresh and Fit, bro.
They on my dick, nigga. Fuck wrong with you, nigga? Yo, why this little Fresh and Fit nigga always on my nuts? Weak ass nigga. I am too cool to respond to whatever clip I seen. Too cool for you, nigga. You would never be in my circle. Don't be mad because I ain't happy to see you, motherfucker. Fuck you, nigga. Hey, Fresh and Fit K, y'all. Y'all niggas gonna catch this wrath now. Now I gotta do it to you niggas. Y'all know how many careers I done took? Stop playing with me. It will be collected. Now I wanna go on your shit, now you mad. Fuck you, nigga. He said he ain't like how my face look. He said I looked at mean or something in the club. Nigga, I got aura. Fuck you, nigga. I wanna be your homie, nigga. You ain't my friend, bitch.
Where you see him in the club yesterday?
He said he got aura. That's crazy. Let me know how that aura works when you go into family court trying to get your kid, bro. I went to court with aura one time. It was wild. Yeah, go to court with aura, bro. Let me know how that works. It probably went just how it went for me.
I don't know. Another time. You know niggas be hating.
Wow, nigga said nigga look mean.
He look like he's the shit. Yeah, bitch, I ain't no richer than you. Way richer. Pussy, nigga.
Damn, nigga popping again.
Hey, man, cause I can. That nigga he don't go outside. Nobody worry about that nigga.
Like, if you see bro, he see you, like, what you doing though, bro? He ain't doing nothing. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, bro. What if you see that nigga and he see you, nigga, and Cook just nowhere to be found, nigga?
Hey, nigga, we shooting the ones then. I think he a retired police officer. He federal.
That nigga will break your goddamn arm, nigga.
Shit.
I be damn.
You be a cop.
Johnny, you how about that, Johnny?
Beat a bullet up.
In GTA.
Nigga right now in the middle of going through some shit. He did a whole song, let me see my baby. I wanna see my baby. The nigga did a whole song about the shit. The nigga going through some turmoil right now, but he can't be mad at his bitch because you're not allowed to criticize black women. You can only ever hate black men. Those are the rules. If you're gonna hate anybody, you're only ever allowed to hate another black man. You can't criticize your black woman. You can't ever be mad at her. You can't point this energy at her because then then you're mad. Now you're the bad guy. The niggas don't want to be the bad guy.
Yeah, because DDG said, "Oh, you're never gonna be in my circle." DDG, you never be in your baby mama circle, nigga. You over here fucking trying to see your son. You ain't in the circle. The only circle you're gonna be in is fucking family court, bro. Get the fuck out of here. That's the only circle you're gonna know now. You ain't in the mermaid circle. You ain't in your baby mom circle. You ain't in any of those circles. You're in the family court circle now, motherfucker.
You ain't in the mermaid circle, nigga. I heard the mermaid circle was lit, bro. Yo, them bitches are so wet in the mermaid circle. You don't even know. You don't even know, bro. Oh my God. I haven't been in the mermaid circle, but I was at the beach and I saw it one time and it was gorgeous, bro. You ain't never gonna get in the mermaid circle, DDG. You out of here.
Yeah, because DDG said, oh, you're never gonna be in my circle. DDG, you never be in your baby mama circle, nigga. You over here fucking trying to see your son. You ain't in the circle. The only circle you're gonna be in is fucking family court, bro. Get the fuck out of here. That's the only circle you're gonna know now. You ain't in the mermaid circle. You ain't in your baby mom circle. You ain't in any of those circles. You're in the family court circle now, motherfucker. That's where you are.
You ain't in none of the circles, bro. I'm telling you, man, that mermaid circle, bro, it's wet. It is so wet.
Nigga really said, you're in my circle. Is that shit supposed to hurt my fucking feelings? Nobody wants to be in your dumbass circle. Insult? You and your whole entourage are a bunch of stupid fucks.
Well, he has gray hair. He looks dehydrated. He's not going to live long.
Really? Okay, DDG, I'm not gonna live long. How about you, nigga? Because you look fucking sickly here.
Well, I don't know if I broke my... I didn't really bring too much, so I just show y'all. Well,
fuck wrong.
No, I'm not gonna get totally deep into all of this, but I was making a point about this, right? See, DDG, he didn't like that a nigga was telling the truth about black women. DDG fell in love with him, a black woman, had his baby, because, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. And now he's going through all the shit that the nigga was right about the whole time. You was mad at him talking all of this shit, but he was right the whole time. And now you're going through it. And now that you're going through it, you got a beef with him and your baby mama at the same time. Bro, that's the dub. That's not how we win, bro. That's not how you win. Niggas need a bro code. This whole thing is crazy.
Bro, what you like, bro? Nigga standing on stilts.
I don't know if I broke my foot. Look at that.
The fuck? Nigga got the nerve to say I'm dehydrated, I ain't gonna live long? Nigga, fuck wrong with your leg?
That look weird, right? Why am I...
Bro, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga, bro? You got the nerve to talk shit about my health? When you could put indents in your legs?
Hey, man, listen. We gotta get ourselves together, bro. These chicks trying to gender war us to death, bro. It's crazy out here, man. It's real crazy out here, bro. But listen, we're going to put a cap on this one. We're going to throw this one in the bag tonight. Thank y'all so much for coming through. Shout out to all the church members. Thank y'all so much for participating in the show. Shout out to all the donations. Joey Montana with the $4.99 super chat. He said, and this is the problem with simps like DDG. They never see things for what they are until it affects them personally. And even then, it's not a guarantee that they will take things seriously, right? Just because, look, Boyce Watkins is a great example. We started to show off with Boyce Watkins, right? Boyce did 18 years, bro. Boyce did 18 years on child support. God knows what he been through for 18 years, you know what I mean? And it's not a guarantee that just because it happens to you, you're not going to stop worshiping black women. Yeah, listen, how much you want to bet a lot of these black women is God niggas? Listen, I know for a fact some of these niggas done been through the ringer with this black woman is God shit, bro. Stop. Don't even play with me.
But if man had to find out that his God was a woman,
I say the black woman is God, and
black woman is God.
I say the black woman is God.
The black woman is God because, you know, she was the first organism on this planet.
A lot of them niggas got cases with black women, bro. Chill. We out of here, man. Thank y'all for watching. Hit that like button on your way out. Thank y'all so much. I'm done. I ain't got no more to say, man.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help black people.
I have black mother privilege. And I'm going to start breaking that down for y'all. because there is a privilege for me as a Black mother. I'm not going to have the same relationship. My sons adore me. My sons will put their life on the line in a New York minute over me. My sons will lose everything they have over me. Over me? It ain't happening. My sons will turn on their father over me. Over me? So when you ask me about my Black sons, the relationship does not correlate the same to what I'm saying about Black men.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.